here? What's up,
What's
everybody?
going on, ladies?
You know
the thing.
same shit.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. Jacob, y'all settled in, Jacob?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Still got some stuff over at the old house, which I'm slowly working on getting it to the new house. And she decided, to go on a cruise, her and her mother. So they're not even here. I mean, like, literally, I busted my ass to move into the house, and then they leave to go on a cruise Monday and won't be back until this weekend. So,
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Chicks,
Sorry.
man.
That's how it goes.
this is what it is.
How far did you move?
She lived in a town called Bonifay, which is right off the interstate of I-10. So from where I'm actually from, it was about an hour. So we moved back. We pretty much moved back to where she worked, where I worked.
Put yourself closer.
Yeah. There's
Nice.
about like a 20-minute commute from the house we live in now to my job, and she's looking at about 30 minutes. So, I mean, it beats an hour.
Right.
Hours.
And what about your window cleaning work? Is that close?
Yeah, it's all in this area in the town I live in.
Nice.
Dope, son.
So tell me about your visit with Mike Nichols. I didn't know he was spending the day with you till I saw a video. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he showed up. He told me what he was doing. He said he was going down there to hang out with you. You were going to teach him some stuff, and he's like, I want to stop through, and he's like, I'm going to end up stopping anyway. I'm not going to take the whole drive.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend runs a vacation like rental management company.
Yep.
So she got him like a little condo, and he got here Saturday night,
Yeah.
and he left Monday morning. I mean, nice.
Nice, man.
Well, I'm gonna give our guest a call here. Hopefully, we can get this feller in here. Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fart sound like it elevated you off your chair, Mark.
I just had to get a little clearance in there.
Yeah. Give a little room for the toot.
Right. Right.
All right.
Hey, Mary.
Find him here. Hi, Mom.
What's up,
There
Mary?
he is.
Hey, Mary.
We're gonna add Fletcher to the call.
Cool.
Sweet.
Faux show.
Foul show. If we have to, I hate to. Did you share around? Hey, what's up, Fletcher?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I'm gonna
going on, man?
get him on screen.
What's
here.
up?
How you doing, man?
What's chilling?
What's up, man?
How's it going?
What's up, dude?
Is it my internet or did the?
Oh, there we go. I couldn't see Mark Tanner. It just had two of Squeegee.
Yeah, man.
What is your name, by the way, dude?
Who, me?
Yeah,
TJ.
TJ. Okay.
Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah,
And
TJ.
Andrew, I've seen you a few times.
That's Seth, actually. That's Seth. That's Seth on his
I
brother
run off-
Andrew's
I run
Skype
off my
account.
brother's Skype. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think
okay.
you would think after 3 years I'd
Yeah.
change it. But
Yeah, his brother runs off of Seth Byers, which is really weird.
Right.
Okay.
And that's, of course, Jacob there in the middle, the handsomest guy in the crew.
I'm just the fat guy that everyone makes
So am
fun
I.
of.
We're the fat guys.
Mark, you do high rise, don't you?
I used to. I did it
Used
for, well, I did it myself for about 15 years, and then when I started my own company, we did it for the first 15 years. And yeah, the biggest building I've done is 43 stories sitting on top of a 12-story parking garage, so it's 600 feet close to it. You know, that's the whole. I watched your videos because TJ told me about you, and the only thing surprising. Well, let's ask you, how long have you been cleaning windows, Fletcher?
How long do you think I've been cleaning windows?
Well, you're very good at what you do, but some people are naturals. I've seen some guys clean for 30 years that still can't swing his fucking squeegee. So that's kind of could go any which way.
2.5
No offense to anyone.
years.
Really, that's
What?
Yeah, 2.5
Wow.
years.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
For real?
From the first time I squeegee, actually it'll be 3 years in June.
So, go ahead. I want to ask you. So, Was your first window cleaning experience chair work? Was that your first or did you start on the ground?
My boss, he had me go to the job site, and I was kind of eager to learn and jump off the building, so he taught me how to do it on the ground. And I've been doing it on the ground for about a week, and just watching my best friend rappel on the top just over and over, and I was like, I want to do that, So about less than 2 weeks in, man, I jumped over and got a little too excited, and started rappelling down and didn't engage my safety, got yanked out of my chair, all that shit.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the first time. But
where do you work primarily?
Nashville.
Nashville. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
But yeah, I enjoy it.
So you work for someone, or you work for yourself now?
I work for someone. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
What made you get into it?
Huh?
What got you into window cleaning? I know you said your friend works there. Is that how you got into it? Or?
Honestly, dude, I had been a bartender for about 10 years, and then I went up into management, into restaurants, and managed restaurants, did that off and on, moved out to Tunica, was bartending in Tunica, split with my son's mom, moved back, became a single dad, and then realized I couldn't be working the nightlife anymore, and the kind of money my buddy was making working during the day when my son would be at school, I was like, all right, I'd like to enjoy that. It seems fun. Let's do it, So
yeah,
damn,
that was it, man. That was it, and the rest was history, man. I met my boss though, and man, that dude's taught me a lot. Not just about window cleaning, but about life. He's 65. He don't rappel anymore. I was the last person he ever trained to rappel. He can't anymore. After I fell, he hung with me, but he's been doing it like 35 years. And some of the buildings I'm doing up that crazy one you saw that I posted with the slides, he designed that anchor system and has been helping design the buildings around Nashville now. So it's he's good people, man. He's good people.
Man,
he takes care of us. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, that's super
guys
cool.
are there?
It's there's my boss, and he just we see him. He kind of just pokes around, when he needs to check on his boys. But it's like me and my buddy John and my buddy Cody, and it's just the three of us, man. 505 is, the whole height is 527 feet, but it's like you're cleaning 47 stories, and we did that whole building in less than 2 weeks. Ashurion, both those buildings we did in less than 2 weeks. That includes the lift work, water-fed pole work. I mean, you name it. He kind of runs us like some monkeys out there, man, some days, but he takes care of us. It's like the winter months too, man. It's like we had work the whole time, and I know other crews didn't, so it's like
that's
can't really beat it right now.
Well, he must have a good relationship and been around a long time, being that age. So he's got the relationships with the property, so nobody's touching that work.
Well, that's the thing he's always told me is the relationships. He said, do good work, man, do good relationships. He said everything else will come. The money will come, the good buildings will come, everything else will come. Just focus on the work, and doing that's worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have companies here that sometimes spend more time figuring out what they're going to not do versus what they are supposed to do, and then they roll the dice. They come in cheap, and then they skin half of a job because no one watches the way they do for ground level work, or
you've seen the construction cleans, man. People just people are so cheap on those construction cleans, and everyone knows that's the most important clean of a building is the construction clean. And it shows. I hate going to buildings that hire shitty companies that you can see where it's just all kinds of caulking on the glass, just didn't care. Then you get in there and try to fix it, and it's like, these don't look that great. It's like, what did you want us to do?
Yeah. So I have a few questions because I watched many of your videos.
I appreciate that. It still blows me away how many people watch those.
Well, you're doing something that not a lot of people do, and people that have no idea what window cleaning is are fascinated. I can guarantee you that guys that have never seen high-rise window cleaning are now looking around, even though they're not window cleaners, and say, look, there's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? That's
the coolest part for me, man, is when I hear the kids, the messages I've gotten from the kids, that are in school or hearing that, like, they played my videos in someone's class talking about blue-collar trades. It's like, to hear that, you can't beat that, dude. No. And I never expected that.
You've got quite a following on TikTok, man. Quite a following, dude. 6 million likes is nothing to shake a stick at.
I mean, dude, that's what's wild because I had content for probably like half a year, you
Mhm.
know, where I'd just been recording, you know, and editing for myself, and just would show it to my friends, show it to my family, just had it for myself because you know
Mhm.
I love watching what we do. I love the work. I love looking at my progression. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Through the
Right.
videos, through my technique, through zooming over and looking at my buddies. You know, Steve-O, the funny thing is Steve-O, I learned so much from watching Steve-O's videos when I first
Yeah.
started, you know,
Yeah.
and just little techniques. But it's like when I first started making those, dude, I had no intent of putting them out until I started dating a chick, and she's like, "You should put those online."
Hell
And
yeah.
I was like, "No one's gonna care to see those." And next thing I know, you know,
Yeah.
people did care to see
Yeah.
those. It's
Yeah.
kind of wild.
Man,
Well,
it blew
again,
up for you.
Yeah. It
Huh?
goes.
No, but
Yeah.
I think sometimes too, it's the first one I saw. TJ showed me your like son was sick and your buddy was talking to you about it, and
Yeah.
I think it's people get blown away by like the mundane conversations you have
Yeah.
at that height. The comfortability of it, I think, makes people go, you know, how is someone able to do this? You know?
That's the one thing
Yeah.
that kind of drew me to what, you know, your TikTok in the first place is the casual conversation. It reminded me of us sitting here doing the podcast. You're cleaning windows like 30 stories in the air and just talking about random shit. That, and I like it when I like, dude, there's a couple of them where you're like, you got spun around. You said you don't like being spun around. I don't like
did
being
not.
spun around. I'm just like, dude, look how fucking high in the air you are. Is that your only concern?
Well, it's like that's the thing. That's what I tell people. I was like, you know, you all know, like Mark knows, you know, if you're on a corner and you got some high wind hitting you, you know,
Yeah.
the best thing is to just prepare for the worst. You know, always rig for the worst. You know, always prepare for the worst possible situation in your mind. You know, and sometimes it's like, you know, like well, my boss when we first did it, my first corner. You know, he was like, man, I was nervous of that wind. He was like, let it take you. He was like, let it take you. He said, just so you see what it's about. You know what I mean? And so I let it take me, and it's like, you know, it's there, but that's what I try and tell people all the time. It's like, if you ever talk to a guy who does high rise, I don't care how long they've been doing it. If they tell you they've never been scared on a rope or never had like an oh shit moment where they're like kind of freaked out, they're lying through their teeth, you know, because there's you know, footage I have, you know, where, you know, I'll be like, Jesus, dude, this wind is out of control, but obviously I didn't don't post everything.
Right.
Well,
right.
yeah, but you know what, Fletcher, one thing I've learned doing this a little bit more than and I'm impressed that you're able to do what you do after 2.5,
That's
even
fucking
5
crazy.
years, you know, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, the guys that don't have that respect and fear are the ones you don't want to work with. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with guys that I hired in a couple guys to help me get through a job, and they were using rack and bar, and they'd literally open up the bars and free fall between floors and then lock off, and they would
Mhm.
bounce them up, and I'm like, dude, I'm not impressed. You're not impressing me
No,
at
dude,
all.
no.
At all. You know?
No, dude, that's like you see those tree climbers that climb buildings we do, you
Yeah.
know, with no harness, no ropes. And I'm like, dude, you know, that doesn't impress me because
No.
the thing is, we were doing a building this summer and I grabbed a panel. I ripped that panel off just by my
Yeah.
grip. It's like, you know, what if one of them fell and then not just them falling, all the guys up there just had to watch their buddy fall and then you can't go
That's
up.
it.
again.
You're
You
over.
know?
You're done. You're done.
It's
Yeah.
just like the minute you disrespect, you know, the dangers of our work is the minute somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I see it. And it's just at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I've got a little boy I got to get home to that would be screwed without me. And I enjoy my life, you know? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I do enjoy it. You know?
So I could be wrong, but I noticed on some of the videos I've seen, maybe all the videos, you prefer to use a horsehair brush instead of a.
do. I do.
Yeah.
That's just how I was trained too. My boss,
Yeah,
like I said,
that's
he's
old
old
school.
school.
Yeah,
He's
that's
old school, and he'll. But the thing is, I've had people that noticed it too, and I can tell the difference. Of when you go up on a window with just a mop or a horsehair's brush, I can tell the difference. You know,
Yeah.
of the scrubbing. You know, getting that hard water out in the corners. You know,
Yeah.
the natural motion of just being able to hit your corners and come all the way through, versus having to just go back and forth with that mop. You know,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I don't know. It's just that's the way I was trained. You know, and
Well, that
I know
yeah.
the results from it.
Once you learn a specific way, it's hard to variate. You know, when you get used to certain descenders, you get used to, again, like a brush or a mop. And yeah, the mop thing, the brush is old school, but a lot of guys that when I came up were using that. It just gets so heavy. An 18-inch real horsehair or boar's hair brush is heavy. when it's full of water. You know, it's twice as much weight. You know.
Yeah, it is. But that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, you know, as well as I do, they're always like, "Don't you run out of water?" And it's just like, well, you really got to learn to conserve it and be like, really tap.
Right.
Hey, there's a guy in the comments would like to know what's your favorite squeegee to use, dude.
Mine?
Yeah.
Man, it's situational. Like, I was talking to my boss about that today. I said, if it came down to where I could only ever own one squeegee, one handle, point blank period, it would be an Ettore 18-inch on an Unger zero-turn channel, because you could do just about anything with it. But when it comes to being on the wall, I like my 24 Sorbo, but I do love my Ettore, super channel when it's like, if it's windows you have to two-stop because there's like deep frames or something like that, and they're kind of skinny to where like a 24 is too big and the 18 is just going to do clean work, which Ettore always does. I'm going to prefer my 18, but if I'm going for speed and just like, how many drops you got to do a day to make the kind of money you want to make that day, like, 24 is your money maker. At the end of the day, that's your money maker. Yeah. But, that's where I go to with that.
So are you paid on drops on the building? Is that how you're paid?
Yeah, we get paid on drops, and like that. That's like our job. We did that pressure wash and window clean job out in HCA. I showed a little bit of that during I think January. That job, our boss just bid that out to pay the three of us $250 every day, and we only worked like 6-hour days because it was freezing out there. You know what I mean? And at the end of the job, he bonused every one of us $2,000. Yeah. So because we got it done quicker than expected. So he does take care of it, because he's told us, like, people have wanted to buy his company, and he's like, listen, he's like, we got a good thing going. I got good work going. He said, I can retire right now and sell it. I don't need it. He said, if y'all want to keep it going, we'll keep it going. It's up to y'all. He's had the talk with the three of us. So it's like, he's very open and honest about it. He's like, if y'all don't do good work, we ain't going to get the buildings. He's like, it's just, it is what it is. And he'll show you the emails where he's, talk to, contracts with people like, hey, my guys need to make this a day. This is why I'm charging you more here. Like, he's open and honest, man. He's a blessing. That's all.
That's probably because he's been there and seen that and done that, and probably got dicked around a couple times himself, and it was just
he
like
came
one of the,
from nothing.
Yeah,
he came from nothing.
Those people are normally the best.
Built their empire, man. They're twins.
Yeah.
So
that's cool, though. I mean, it's always the boss that has done it is always going to be your best boss.
Oh yeah. And dude, that's my thing. It's like me and my buddy John, we've been best friends since high school. And it's like, we plan to start our own company, and it's like, through social media, the amount of buildings that come to me, and I don't even advertise, like my information or anything like that. They'll find me through Instagram, and they reach out to us all the time. And I've brought that up to my boss, and he's like, any ones you want to build, he said, bid it right, for what you want to make. He said, and I'll give you a finder's fee on top. But my thing is just like, I want to stay with my boss till he's done, and then we're going to start our things. It's like, I can't get the knowledge from anyone else that man has taught me. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't go out and buy that. Me making more money in a day.
No, you need to extract as much as you can.
As much as I can, dude. As
like
much
a dry sponge. Yeah. And then when the time is right, you'll know it. And it I mean, like, I have a guy, and he's been with me 16 years, and I've asked him, I'm like, if I want to step back or step out or downsize this, I mean, would you be interested in taking this over? And one high-rise guy goes, absolutely. The other one says, I see what you go through, the phone calls, the bullshit. I just want to collect a nice paycheck and go home. Because, I took a while to wrap my head around that, but not everybody needs to be in business,
Yeah. See, me, though, I went to school. I was in college, at first. I don't want to go down that road, but the long story why that didn't work out. So that's how I kind of wound down this road. But it's like, I went through nothing but, college prep schools and stuff like that. My dad is a, big businessman. So I was like, Marine raised that way. And it's like, that's what I want to do. Like, I love when we go to the buildings and like, I'm face to face with the building managers. I'm on the first name basis. They talk to me. Like, I love that. What I mean? I love working, some of the buildings we do. I love when their social media departments come to me and are like, hey, can we use your content to advertise our buildings? And I'm like, absolutely, go for it, because that's good for our business too. You know what I mean? It's good for them, it's good for me. It's good all the way around. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's where I just circle back to like the lessons my boss told me of like, relationships, doing good work, relationships, and everything else comes, you know. And it's just like my life's got nothing but better since I picked up a squeegee, you know. It's got nothing but better.
It's really strange how that sentiment runs through just about every single interview we do on this podcast for 5 years now. I've even said that myself and that's a test. I'm no bullshit. My life completely changed once I got introduced to window cleaning.
Yeah, man. I've never had a passion for something like that, man.
It's really
the
weird.
Instant gratification we get.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I always feel like it's the freedom too. Like if you like being outside and the freedom to do your thing, it's hard to compete. I have friends who work in all different industries, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to do anything other than what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. It's just like you're basically, when you know the buildings you're on, it's like, and that's what I love about how our boss works with us. He's just like, listen, this is what you're going to make. This is the work you guys have done, you know, do what you got to do. And you literally, like, we don't see him until, like, you know, I think like that Brentwood job, I don't think we saw him for like 2 or 3 weeks until we called him like, hey, we're moving the lift, and we put like 3 boards down over this concrete, but it was just a sunken spot and cracked. He was like, all right, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. You know, and it's just like when you work with people like that you can trust and work with, like you said, you know, you don't think you have a boss, but at the end of the day, it's like when you like what you're doing and have the passion, you want to get and go do work. You don't need someone on your ass. You want to go do that shit, you know, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Like you said, the working outside, it's like you just can't beat it. Like when we have to do the insides, that's miserable.
Yeah, that and having a good crew to work with, like that changes a lot of how
I have a great crew to work with.
Yeah,
my crew is excellent. Nobody's crew's better than my crew, man. It's the coolest crew out there, dude. Nobody's cooler than us. Me, myself, and I. We are fucking bad motherfuckers.
That's one thing I like. Like I said, my boss, he is a twin brother, and so like they built their business together. But their dad was one of the old school window washers that like put the belt on and clipped on the side and stuff.
Old block and tackle and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like each of them have their own crew. So I've had the pleasure of working with the other crew, twin brothers, crew a lot on big jobs that we've done, like big restorations, and it's like that's another thing I do like is like you got your people that are just lazy, coming to collect a paycheck, leaving at 2:00 or because they're going to slam a beer. You know what I mean? It's blue collar work at the end of the day, But it's like when you meet the people that do have a passion for it, it's like you only learn more by working with better people. And that's one thing I love is I'm surrounded by better people and knowledge, and it's just like tell me everything you can.
Yeah, it sounds like you got yourself in a really good, like a really good spot. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't normally go that way. First couple jobs would be rough.
I had to hound my boss so hard. And the only reason I got it because he wasn't even hiring, dude. It was like right when like the height of COVID, like they were window cleaning jobs were getting canceled left and right, and I had to nag him, and my buddy John was like blowing him up like, dude, you got these worthless people out here with me right now that you're trying to have me work with. He's like, I know my best friend doesn't know how to do this, but I know him. He was like, just trust me, meet him, and so I ended up just driving to my boss's house, because he was doing concrete work out there. He told me he's at the house. I was like, he ain't answering my phone. My buddy finally just gave me his number. And I just went out there, met him in person, and he looked at me in person. He was like, sorry, I've been so busy. He was like, but I wanted to see you in person. I ain't hired no one over the phone. I made that mistake before. I ain't doing that. He said, when do you want to start? And I was like, well, he told me he's at the building right now. I ain't working. My son's in school. I can go, go out there and chill, get an idea what's going on, learn some groundwork. He was like, all right, cool. I'll be out there in like a day or two. Just have John teach you how to do it on the ground. And he came out a day or two later, and I was just, he just laughed at how terrible I was, but at the same time, he's like, it's easy. Yeah. And, from then on, man, it was good. It was good, man. It was real good.
Yeah, you're a little bit of an exception to the rule.
I was gonna say that myself. Yeah, definitely. You can tell.
No doubt.
Now I know why you're as good at it as you are. You're very, like Damien said in the comments, very persistent. You're driven dude. So when you got the drive and energy for something, like the passion for something, I was just so tired of working for someone else. Not that my boss is a bad guy, but I was tired of working for someone. I wanted to work for myself, really bad.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's the same with me, man. You know, I'm one of 7 kids, and like when it comes to sports and shit, terrible. I mean, I tried every one of them, and my dad was even the coach. You know, and we won, and I still rode the bench more than anyone, just because I was terrible, and he was a fair coach. But the one thing he'd always tell me, he was like, "Man, I'll give you one thing." He was like, "Your ambitions far exceed your talents." You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, that is one thing, man. It's like, that's one thing I tell John all the time. I was like, dude, I know where we're going. I said, there is not a blind spot in my mind where I don't see us in 10 years. I said, having a successful company together. I said, you know, and doing good work under our name. I said, there isn't, you know, in 10 years down the road when your kid has events going on or my kid has events going on, they're doing some autism run. I said, that our company isn't the one sponsoring that shit. I said, right. I see it, dude. I said, and there's nothing that's going to stop us from getting it. And like, I truly believe that, man. I truly believe that. And it's like, you know, window cleaning, I see that outlet for me, and it blows me away. I would have never thought I'd be cleaning windows ever, you know, but it's just like,
it's another thing people say all the time on here too. People say that all the time on here. I never thought I'd be cleaning windows. Never. No one here, I don't think anyone here on this show right now started out, I'm going to be a window cleaner. No. I think Mark was going to be a marine diesel mechanic.
Yeah.
I was going to be a union carpenter. Seth was going to be
electrician.
An electrician, and I think Jacob worked construction too. So, I mean, it's who thought that was going to happen?
A project manager doing computer information systems, sitting behind a desk all day.
Oh shit, and look what you do now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine sitting in one of those high rises? Can you imagine sitting in one of those high rises and seeing some dude cleaning the windows, and you're sitting in the office on the computer? That'd probably.
Well, that's the thing. Like, my brother has that degree, and my best friend has that degree, and they both make great money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Great money. You know, they do enjoy their lives, you know, at the same time, but at the same time, they kind of hate their lives, hate their work sometimes, you know, and at the same time, it's like one of them, you know, we were talking the other day, and he just discovered ChatGPT after I've been talking to him about it for a while, you know, and I was like, the funniest thing to me, man, is when people make the comments like, drones are going to take your jobs, or robots are going to take my job, and it's like, okay, say you're right, say they do, but even then, AI is going to take every tech job before it takes before robots and drones take blue collar jobs. That's a fact, you know, and it's just like,
that's right.
You know, it's happening. You already see all the layoffs, but at the end of the day, it's like, we love what we do, you know, and the results from it, like, I'm in the best shape of my life, man, from this job that we do. And I don't go to the gym. I don't work out. I have to eat so much more every day just to consistently gain weight and keep it.
That's what, you know, Mark
that was my problem.
Yeah, Mark has said several times on this podcast that it looks super. I mean, guys make it look easy, but it's a constant battle pulling yourself to the building, cleaning windows. You're holding yourself all day, pulling yourself into the building. So I can only imagine, like, on a window. Yeah,
well,
it's
the buildings that wear you out the most, dude, are your little 5 and 6 story buildings where you got to do 15, 16 drops a day because they only pay $20, $25 a piece. So if you want to make $300 a day or more, you know, you got to be grinding and, you know, like rigging. And that's why people don't understand either. They're like, oh, they're on the side of the, you know, building cleaning windows. It's like, dude, lugging them ropes or pulling them ropes up 50 stories on the side of 505 is the most dreading part of the day.
Yeah, no, we used to, I mean, when
I snatched someone's trash can. He used to, you know, a trash can with a lid, one of those Rubbermaid, and he had it full of rope. He's like, hey, he goes, carry my, and it was only 4 floors, dude. Fuck you. It's like carrying a person on your back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that your rope would weigh that fucking much. Dude, it is heavy as fuck.
I remember my first time loading all that gear up to like a building stairwell, and you get it like, you know, from the parking garage to the loading dock, through the building, up to the roof. It takes you like 3 fucking trips, and you're like exhausted before you even started. You're like, what did I get myself into? And nowadays it's like you roll up in the parking garage, get out, and just have everything in one trip and carry it and just get up and go. You know, it's like your body gets accustomed to it, but at the end of the day, it's still the shittiest part. You know?
Yeah, it is. No, we used to, we had a really tight, I had 4 buildings all across, literally across the street from each other. You know what I'm saying? So and they were all 4 times a year. So they would finish one,
That's
grab
nice.
the gear, walk across. They wouldn't even drive. They'd walk across the street. And they always made a habit of, and this was on them because they're salary, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not hourly wage.
Yeah.
And they would, if they finished one building, they would rig the next one for the first thing in the morning. So all they had to do was get there, drop rope, and go. You know, and believe it or not, that saves the day because there was a time when
Oh yeah.
you don't
did
get
that.
off the roof
I
till
did
11
that
o'clock.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we did a sherry on, it's 2 different big glass buildings, and when we were finishing one side, we started on it on this corner this way, and one day we finished hitting 2 drops, you know, like on the other wall when you wrap around, and by the next day when we came back, the wind was coming the opposite direction, so we couldn't do those, you know, pick off where we left off, so we had to go from the other wall, and then stop, and there was just like 2 drops in between. Well, we got the whole other building done. The whole thing was done, but those, so I had to go back, and that's exactly what I did the night before I left. I took all my gear up there and did it. But you know how those are, like when you're in direct sun and in between all clean glass.
There's always one day minimally. Yeah, 1 day of direct sun. If you know how to work, you can. I used to work for a guy when I learned, and he'd be like, "I need you to start at the front of the building." I'm like, "Okay." And this was like a small hospital that had an entrance on each side. So I'm like, "Okay." So I set up on the north side. Okay, and then he'd come pulling in and reaming my ass, and he'd be like, "I told you to start at the front of the building." I go, "Well, there's an entrance here. It's just as good as the other side." And he's like, "No, because I want you to start on the other side." And I'm like, "Why would I start in the sun and work all day?" I go, "You want more out of me?
Yeah.
Leave me alone and let me do my thing, and I'll tell you when I'm done." Yeah. I mean,
The only time I want the sun is when it's like you're
Cold
out
out.
there and it's like 30 degrees, you
Yeah.
know, and you're just like, yeah, I want the sun. I
Yeah.
want it. I don't even care if I'm cleaning slow. I just need to warm
Right.
up.
No window
Right.
cleaner wants to fucking start in the sun. You know what I mean?
No,
Unless it's cold
yeah.
out.
Yeah, unless it's cold out.
Yeah,
That's
you
like-
want to chase that shade all day. That's what I call it, chasing shade, baby.
Oh yeah,
chasing
it's like
shade.
I'd rather move my ropes 3 times around the building than just sit in the sun all day.
No, I had a building that no matter what you did was, unless you had a cloudy day, the south side was in the sun for 10 hours a day. So in the equipment room, they had an ice machine for the employees. They would literally fill their bucket half with ice, half with soap and water. They'd have a camelback on their back. You know what a camelback is?
Yeah.
Full with ice and water and by the time they get to the ground, all the ice was melted and all the water was gone. And it was like a 23-story drop. It wasn't huge, but nonetheless, you're over that wall for 45 minutes each time. It's rough.
Dude, it's brutal some days. I remember it's like you'll get on that glass, you know, like I got some old footage of like it's still because there's a lot of footage I have, like I said, when I've recorded that I don't share. You know, there's a lot of stuff I will not post online. That's only for my eyes and my friends' eyes.
Yeah.
You know, but some of the stuff you see on there, like when I was hopping over and like, "So you said we're gonna beat the fucking sun, man," and throwing some water on the glass, and it's just smoke coming
steams
off.
up.
Like, what is this? And you can just feel the rays just getting sunburn on your nose, just all over your face. Just like, I remember yelling over at John, like, "Hey, man, you said we're going to beat the sun. I saw you putting on sunscreen. What was that about?"
Right.
What was that about? I don't know. But it's always a good time. Good stories, good banter. That's another thing I love, man, is like you guys say, the crew you work with. Like, when I do the insides of these buildings, granted, you know, like, I couldn't sit there at a desk with a little headset on and in front of a keyboard and just mindlessly look outside. Like, I like cutting up. I like listening to music. I like having books or podcasts on in my ears 24/7 or the radio. I'll call into the radio while I'm hanging, you know, local radio. I've tried to learn Spanish. You know, I've learned a little bit, but I just can't stay consistent with that. But I just feel like
you'll
it's
notice,
necessary.
and you probably already do. When you walk through enough office buildings enough time, you start to look around, and for the most part, people in there under the fluorescent lights behind the desk are fucking miserable.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you always know the miserable ones because you walk like out of the elevator up to the stairwell, and you'll run into a secretary sitting at the front of the desk, and she'll be overly nice just because a breath of fresh air walked through and want to say hello.
And I actually asked them how their day is. That's the thing with me, man, is some of these security guards or security people, like, that I'll talk to, you know, or like go out of my way, like, you know, Hispanic custodians, man, I'll go out of my way and speak a little Spanish to them, ask them how their day is, and tell them I don't speak much, but it, like, you make that interaction, the rest of the building, it's nothing but smiles and them trying to go out of their way and help you, just with like a little kindness, a little respect to anyone.
Not enough of that in the world as there is anyway.
It's a long way. Goes a long way.
No.
Yeah.
But I hate seeing it, man. I hate getting treated. That's one thing that blows me away is like when we do inside sometimes, if you start on a new building where people don't really know much about window cleaners, and it bothers me more than anything, is they'll treat you like the help or treat you like just shitty. Oh, you know, the minute they see you on the outside or see what you do, they treat you different. Or that's like the same with me now, you know, like some people will see me that didn't give two shits about me, and now they see me on TikTok or see how many views I have, and they're just like, oh man, you know what's going, and like it's just like it bothers me because it's like I'm the same exact person I was before that you didn't give a shit about.
Right.
Yeah.
And like all those other people are the same too, you know.
To be honest, that fades with time, man. It takes a while. I used to feel the same way, and I had buddies with degrees who did this and that. And then you see yourself going out, and they're like, "Oh, you can buy this. You're going here. You're doing that." And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, I am."
Yeah. And I clean windows.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, that's my thing, man. And my focus was too. It's just like, you know, just enjoy what I'm doing now, learn as much as I can, make these good buildings, and build. You know, just keep sharing it and build a following. Because the thing is, that's what I told my buddy and I told my boss, because he doesn't really understand social media too much. And I was like, every follower I get, man, is a potential client in the future, is potential reference in the future to my work. You know, I was like, but right now, I said, I'm just focusing on doing good work, learning this. I said, and getting my son where he needs to be. You know, I said, and hopefully the rest just falls into place, you know, along the way.
Right.
Just hope so. But we'll see.
If you keep doing those things, everything will fall into place.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
That's a no-brainer. Yeah, that's...
Work pays off for sure.
Yeah, hard work does pay off.
Well, Fletcher's like the Steve-O of high-rise, because I've yet to see anyone that does as much content as Fletcher. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I've honestly
seen like a little bit, but not much.
I'm about to take a step back from it though. Like TikTok, I've been trying to get a live stream key from them for probably like half a year now. And I even downloaded their live studio because it's like my camera won't live stream to TikTok, but it will to YouTube. So you can port it with a live stream key, which I don't really care too much to do that. But what I did want to do, and I tried doing it the other day, is I don't know if you saw that 30-minute video I released on YouTube. It's from the roof of the building to about 30 minutes down, you know, a ledge step off, just some wind, just like a 30-minute footage, you know. What I wanted to do is I have it all set up through TikTok Studio to where it's like the top screen is like me, and the one below it is my other monitor showing the 360 footage going from the roof to, you know, the end of the drop. And I wanted to live stream from start to finish while talking with the viewers, doing the angles, you know, of every 360 image, how I make the videos, how you get the angles, and when they have questions while it's playing, like, what are you doing here? I'm right there to answer. Then when you're done, you know, it's edited, release it to YouTube, and then they've been on that experience with you, you know what I mean? So it's like trying to get that going, but...
Yeah, that's a special kind of camera. I saw that the other day, the 360 camera.
This guy right here.
Yeah. So you put that on like a helmet or something?
What kind of camera is that?
I just flipped that onto my harness, but you can put it on a helmet. I'll put it. I'll just change that, and I'll put it like when I go longboarding. I'll put it on that.
What kind of camera is that?
An Insta 360 1R.
Okay, so it's not a GoPro.
It's not a GoPro.
Yeah, because they're fucking GoPros are fucking garbage.
Yeah, GoPro is good for doing still shots in 4K.
But I got the Mac Daddy. I got the Mac Daddy, and it's fucking poop.
Yeah, my brother has a 4K one that'll put on his drone when he's flying in FPV, and they're good for that. But it's like with what we do, like that fisheye lens, being able to literally capture 360 degrees, and to where it's like I can literally pick the angle. So sometimes it's like, if it's a terrible pool I did or it's a terrible window, it's like, let's pan out to the view below. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean? I've been creating content for YouTube for a long time, but I'm, you know, I'm not one for multiple setups, and I just shoot shit and then put it on the internet, and I say swear words and stuff like that. So I have trouble on YouTube, but I'm gonna be
no views.
huh?
I get no views on YouTube.
YouTube's tough, man. YouTube is tough. Now, TikTok, I could see how. I just don't want to put the time into it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I do videos here and there, you know what I mean. But what you're doing is fucking awesome, dude. Like your content is really good. I can see why you do so well, because you could. It's edited pretty good, man.
I try with that, but that's the thing about TikTok. It's really good, and this is what it came down to. Is it's like I had one account on TikTok when I first started. Like the account I have right now will be a year old in July. I had one for a couple months before that had like 40,000, and it got banned. And it got banned because once you get 10,000 followers on TikTok, you can start making money off it, right? Off your views and stuff. Mm-hmm. The minute you opt into that, though, you start getting incredibly strict censorship. I mean, they start flagging your videos, they throttle your videos. If anyone reports it for anything, it gets taken down, you still get to strike. So it would go from like getting no views. And my thing is just like, okay, I don't care if you're going to pay me shit money. I'd rather a lot more people see videos of window cleaning, and I don't want the money. So when I made the new account, I haven't made $1 off a single video. I own every rights. I've had people try to come at me like Barstool Sports, Unilab, you name it. And they've all tried to come from my content, and I'm just like, you can share it for free. You know what I mean? You can share it for free. You know what I mean? But I'm not just going to take some split share or license it to you. No problem. And it's just like, that's my thing. I just wanted to show it to as many people as I could. And that's what TikTok does do well, is it gets it out there to so many people. And so when like that many young people are seeing my content, it's like, that's the best way to reach them. And at the end of the day, it's like, I've realized my money isn't going to come from social media. My money isn't going to come from the content I put out there. My money is going to come from the business I build and the hard work I put into it. The rest is just a bonus. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's my mindset, and that's what it's going to be. And that seems what's worked. But again, with the content, it's like I'm kind of taking a step back where I just want to like post like once or twice a week, because it seems like when you start flooding it, you kind of get drained on content.
You water down,
And at the same time, it's just like you can have really good content, but when you post consistently sometimes and one doesn't do well, then they won't really trend it well. And it just seems like if you space it out, they do well. You know what I mean? It seems like posting less, you get more views, more comments overall. I don't know why, but it's like I've ran tests, I've watched analytics, and the data over it, and it's just like that's what it's come down to. So it's just, I don't know, but I'm hoping YouTube is the end game. I hope people really enjoy, those longer versions, but I don't know. At the end of the day, maybe a little boring for most people. TikTok's good about the clickbait, real quick.
Yeah.
People watching. Yeah, it's crazy how the TikTok thing has taken off. But I think even more than that, it's kind of like a diagnosis of our sickness as human beings. Like we have no attention spans anymore. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like we're good for about 30 seconds, bro. Yeah. Like I notice myself, like the shorter videos that I do, the shorter like 6 to 10 second videos do way better than when I take a lot of time to do a long video. It's like, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, dude. Like there's some where people have asked, like, did you drop something? You drop something? It's like, dude, like, if y'all will go back and look at some of the videos that I've posted that were like 6 and 7 minutes long that I knew, because they're longer than 2 or 3 minutes, most people aren't going to watch them, so they're not going to get trended. So for that fact, they're not going to get seen out of your followers, and they're really not going to get seen out of your followers that go to your page. So I was like, it's that long, you know what? I'll put it at the very end. And it's like you'd have like 2 comments, where I put in the caption, like, those of you who stay to the end will enjoy that. They'd be like, that was nice, because they saw it. But it's like, as many people that ask, it's just like, it's there, but it's like they just want that flashy one where the minute the clip starts, it gets their attention. And if you don't keep it, then they're gone. They're gone.
I gave up trying to figure that out. I just, I just gave up on it. I'm just like, that's it.
If you obsess over it, man, I did the same thing, where you'd have one start going viral, and going crazy, and you want to understand, because I remember one I had go viral. It was like I posted on my account that got banned, and it got like 50,000 views. I posted it on my new one, it got like 2 million overnight. People going crazy about it. And I was like, it was the exact same video.
Yeah,
like, nothing was different.
I've never had that experience. I've only gotten 40,000 views on a TikTok. That's the best I've ever done. But I don't really, I'm not really consistent with it either, though. I don't know how to follow the trends or none of that shit. I'm 43. I'm fucking chubby.
Can you imagine how many followers I'd have if I was like a really good-looking woman doing what we did?
No shit.
Goodness gracious, man.
We used to make me and Mark used to make jokes about that. What was that chick's name, dude? The one that used to stack like Jamie Pollin. Is that it?
Yeah.
She used to do like 5-6 pieces a stack, and nobody ever said a word to her. But as soon as you seen a dude doing that, they'd be like, "You fucking idiot!"
Oh my god, she would do shit like stand at the top of 6.5 pieces of ladder, leaning out, holding with one hand, and people are like, "What?"
Yes.
You know, if I did that,
I'd rather be on a 50-story building on my rope than on a 6-stack ladder or a 40 ladder any day.
Dude, 6-stack ladders is out of control.
Man.
I've the 40-foot ladder, man. Like I have one, but I haven't touched that in a long time. Fuck that thing, dude.
You're like, God, I hate them.
That thing,
no, my guys all are like, I go, we could do 5 pieces of ladder, or we could do it with the rope. They're like, where do I tie on?
Right?
Exactly, dude.
Oh, dude, nobody wants to do that, man. I remember we were doing a movie theater, and there was no way that the crew could do a drop, so they rented a 60-foot like fiberglass ladder that like me and another guy had to put up
3 sections,
and then he made me go up on it. Like we had to use the truck to like push it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like 19. People are driving through the parking lot. I was like, man, I hate this. This is the worst thing I've ever done.
I was the first time I ever got on a 40-foot ladder. It was completely fully extended, and it was sitting on a fucking boat dock. Like a fucking floating boat dock. My boss is footing the ladder, and I climbed up this ladder all the way up to the top of this fucking house due to these gable windows. I've never been so pissed off in my life. I was so mad at him.
Dude.
I'm like, bro, this is so fucking stupid, dude. Like, let's go get a pole or something. This is dumb. I don't want to do this.
I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
I'm the same way. My boss loses it. Like when we get the ladders out, the 40s. I got up on the 40. I think we were doing I think it's called Union Station. It's Nashville's really old train station, and like you know those old buildings, man. You have to get back there with the 40-foot ladders to get up to these windows, and take a pole with you. You know, you get to the top of the 40, then take a pole and get out at like an angle, you know, and then you have to wet it and then zero in between these panels. And he was down there and he was like, God, I can feel this ladder shaking. And I was like, yeah, man, that's my foot. Just chill out.
Yeah, no, we used to have
nothing worse than hearing that, though.
Yeah.
You know,
we used to do an 18. Well, it's a 23-story building, but the first 18 stories are office space, and then 19, 20, 21 through 23 is private condos, right? And there is a ledge about 2 feet and an overhang about 2 feet off of a peaked roof. So I got that job, and my guys were like, how are we going to do that? And I'm like, well, I know a guy that worked for the company that used to do this job. So I called him up. I'm like, hey, man, I need a favor. I need some information on how you guys did under the mansards at the Esperani building. And he goes, oh, that's easy. Okay, what's the trick? They used to take a 40-foot ladder, tie it off on a metal roof, lower it down onto the ledge, and literally it's almost at the edge of the ledge, and then climb it and then lower. I go, no, that's not happening. We ended up water feeding those from the ledge. Drop on the ledge, lower down the water fed, and we told them it ain't going to be, 100%. It's going to be 75%, and they were fine with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they just gotta understand, It's like
there's just some shit that's just not.
40-foot ladder down the side of a building.
Those dingy windows. It's like blame the architect on this one.
Yeah, it's just like working on your fucking car and you can't get the fucking the oil filter off because everything's in front of it. It's just like you can't blame me for what the engineer did. You can't blame me for what the architect did.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
No, that's like we did some drops on the same thing, like Cummins Station. It's like the old part of that old train station, and there's balconies on the back of that building, and you can't get into them from the inside because it's like an old building, like it's all been sealed. It's like all restoration, all the old glass, all that shit. And so you have to drop from the outside into each balcony, right? And you got to it's all cut ups, dude. And you got to take like a pole in there with you and do like, probably like 10 foot high, fully extended pole work on all these cut ups. And my buddy Cody comes down. He was like, man, fuck that. I ain't doing the pole. I look over and this guy's got 2 pieces of stack ladder, lanyard and hooked onto his board, rappelling into every balcony. He's setting up the stack ladder.
Yeah. Well, once you get on the first balcony, you can pull your safety and lower them to the next one. But yeah.
I wasn't about that. No.
Yeah. No.
Like, I'm not doing that, man. I'll take my time.
No.
That's like.
So I have another question for you, because I noticed on a couple of the videos that I watched, you descend off of a cylinder.
I do.
You have you ever tried any other descenders?
No. Like all my buddies, they have like the G7s or whatever they're called, and like they also all have racks, and they all prefer the racks. Like anyone I personally know that's tried a G7, they all prefer racks. And then like, and my thing is like I can go just as fast as anyone on a rack. Like I can go way too fast in my cylinder if I want to. So it's just like. That's where it's come to me. It's just like my setup has saved me once when I've fallen. You know what I mean?
Sky Genie? Sky Genie?
What is it?
Sky Genie?
Yeah, Sky Genie.
Okay, so I got a story for you that keep in your mind, because and I feel I can talk to you about this, because even though you're an animal, I have a few years on you.
Yeah, give me that.
I hired a guy that had experience, and he's like, I got all my own gear. I just need rope. Let's go. Okay, so he comes out, and he has a Sky Genie. And it was only a 7 or 8 story, 9 to the roof type thing. And I'm like, I've seen guys use that. I've never used it, but I know about it. And he's like, okay. I go, you got to watch this building because it's got bushes, okay? And I've told this story on the podcast before. So we rack up. I just learned with rack and bar, and then eventually I went over to a SRT, which if you haven't tried a SRT, you get the stainless SRT. Once you get used to it, it's a really good descent.
Hey man, I'd love to try out new gear like that, and I've been pushing ABC to send me stuff, but we'll see when we get to that.
I recommend the SRT, but there's other stuff out now that is really smooth and easy to operate. But anyway, because the cylinder spins the rope as it comes through, his ropes, I watched him pull his ropes like 3 feet off the ground. What he didn't take into account was there was old ass bushes down there. So halfway down the building, we're side by side. I'm feeling him out and make sure he's cool, he knows what he's doing. And he couldn't go down anymore because his rope had wrapped around a bush.
Ooh.
And literally he was like pulling like this. And I'm like, just hang on, let me finish this drop. I'll go down and untangle you. By the time I got there, he had ripped half the bushes out trying to get out. That's the thing with and plus, and again, I don't know how much has changed about it, but a lot of guys don't like when you spin the rope like that, because it can fracture. You need to keep an eye on your ropes. If you got any thin spots, and because that means the core is fractured, all the strength in your rope is going to be on the core, whether you use 1/2 inch or 7/16. But you'll notice all of a sudden it look like a snake that ate a rat. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see that in the rope, and that's the inside.
You'll feel it when you ride it too.
Yeah, it's done.
Fast spot.
It's done.
Oh yeah.
It's
so
totally
is that?
done.
I mean, now, and this is just an outsider looking in, but to me, I mean, what you guys are doing is fucking extremely dangerous. But like,
he's
it's changing.
Right, though.
But changing descenders, I mean, it's something that you're used to using all the time. And so isn't that, I mean, that's something you start on a short building, right? You know,
5 stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't change descenders. Me personally, I was too chicken shit to try. I went to a SRT inside of an exhaust chase. Okay, so it's an elevator shaft without an elevator that we were running refrigerant lines in, and the reason you have 0 depth perception inside an exhaust chase because the only thing that you're seeing is with your headlamp, because it's pitch black. There's no lighting in there. And I was much more comfortable trying the SRT when I couldn't see where I was going and what I was doing. It's a mental thing. Mm-hmm. And then once you get the SRT worn in, because it likes to creep unless you wrap it off. You should theoretically squeeze the handle, you go down, you let off, and you stay. Well, until it wears in, okay, which could be a month, and starts to get some grooves in the bars. Right, and it's just constantly creeping, and it's annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got used to not having to lock off. But you should carry at least a figure eight or descender with you everywhere you go, for self-rescue reasons. And a figure eight, you know, they're lightning fast if you're not careful. But we always had an extra rack between. If we're two side by side, someone always had a rack in case like I've seen guys tie off, rack up on a short rope, you know, because you got one rope that's ending on the second floor and the other one's touching the ground because you didn't have enough rope. Let's be real, it happens. Okay. And the guy I used to work for was doing a building that I eventually started doing, and I drove by and saw a rope ending on the 4th story. I made a U-turn and stopped my truck, and he was using rack and bar, and I could see the rope go up and down when he was locking off, and he was on the short rope, which would have meant that rope would have went through that rack, and he probably wouldn't have fallen because he had his safety, but he would have slammed the building. Oh, yeah. So I called up the company, and I'm like, hey, is Rick there? And I'm like, yeah, and I tell him, you know, it's Mark, your guys are on this building and your guy's on a short rope. You need to get a 40 out here or someone with a rack to switch they didn't know how to switch his lines, so they brought out a 40. They didn't, I go, dude, all he's got to do is transfer to the other line. And he was inexperienced, and once he found out he was on the short rope, he was shitting himself. I'm like, dude, you need to settle down. So the funny thing is, because this guy, I tormented his life that I worked for. I'm not going to lie. You know, I made his life a living hell because
I've been there. I've been on the short rope.
He was an asshole. Yeah, so I go.
It's not fun.
He goes to me. Rick goes, well, now I got the 40 out here, and it's leaning up against the building. He's going to climb on. You can leave now. I go, no, thank you. He goes, you're just staying around so you can rag on me. I go, exactly. I go, how do you put these guys on a 20-story building that don't know what the fuck they're doing? You know what I'm saying?
But you're exactly right, man. And that's the thing. Like, you know, like my buddy John, like I said, he's been doing it probably about 11 years now. And he rode, you know, a cylinder for about 5 and stuff until he's really knowledgeable about ropes, you know, and like you said, there's soft spots, the incremental, like all that stuff. So he's constantly trying to download me on that, but it's so much knowledge, you know. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, I'm slowly still at the point where I'm trying to get the best of the best stuff I can. That's what I've told him. I was like, bro, I said, Pencil wants to send me that awesome safety. I said, in a nice rack or one of those descenders and some incremental ropes. I said, I'd love to run them. I said, but right now I don't have $2,500 to $3,000 to drop on them. I said, I know the gear I do have. I said, the way I run it, and this is why I say a bigger building is where I'd want to learn that on, is because, you know, like, if you fall on a 10-story building, your safety's got plenty of time to catch you. You're caught right there. You fall on you know as well as I do, the short buildings are what we get hurt on, dude. Yeah. When you're low to the ground and you fall and don't have enough time.
It's like guys that take a video of them pressure cleaning a roof with a piece of rope on them. I'm like, dude, by the time that thing times up, you're on the ground.
You're on the ground. It's like those
stupid.
are like
you're not impressing anybody with that stupid.
Yeah.
Tied off to someone's stovepipe.
The shittiest part about being high, and this is what I tell people all the time, I was like I'm not worried that I'm going to fall and hit the ground and splat and die. Like, you know, my gear has saved me before, and that's the biggest thing, is trusting your gear. The shittiest thing to think about is when you're on a 30, 40, 50-story building, you know, and say you do fall in a situation where you can't self-rescue or you can't do something like that. The amount of time you're going to be sitting there flopping like a fish against the glass, you know, is going to be a lot longer. You know what I mean? So that's the shitty part. And it's like, from when I did fall, you know, like, I don't remember a lot of it.
So tell us about how you felt.
It was my first time ever going over the building, man. My first time rappelling. I went down and I went over the building, and I was sitting there, and John told me, he was like, all right, how do you like it? And I was like, love it, man. It's great. Yeah, I like this. Awesome, you know, and did the first little window. I was like, awesome. You know, I was like, all right, well, you wait right there for me. I'm going to hop over and I'll be right down. And I, you know, started going down, did the next little bit, started going down, didn't notice like the safety was tugging me. At this point, I was clipped in from the back. Yeah. You know, so I didn't notice it was like starting to go up. Yeah. And I didn't keep my lines in or clipped into me. You know, I was brand new. And so I kept going and just started rappelling down. Next thing I know, it just yanked me out and everything like that. I was just
Oh, so you were hanging from your safety, yeah.
Yeah, just dangling from my safety.
Yeah,
there.
usually you only do that one time.
That was my first time ever, man. But it was just like, so I have an idea of what happens, and it's just like, I don't want to be hanging there for a long period of time. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're gonna be all right, unless something crazy really happens. But my boss told me, he was like, just know if anything crazy really did happen, you'd go into shock before you felt anything. You'd just go into shock.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Thanks, buddy.
Just leave it that way.
Yeah.
That's refreshing.
Right?
Just know before you hit the ground, you'd lose control of your bowels and everything else.
Oh, you shit yourself on the way down, no doubt.
Oh,
It doesn't matter if it's only 4 stories. You're popping a log. That's
I
it.
see some shit on the internet, man. They're just bone chilling. Them dudes, like the guys stuck on the stages, swinging around in the fucking air, like fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, man.
But see, that's their
I've
own
been
stupidity for
stuck
going.
on one of those before.
My company has an unwritten rule of 15 miles an hour. At 15 miles an hour. Now, I told this story. Fletcher, the worst thing, like you said, is when, especially if you got even a 1 foot overhang, when you get spun around, you just completely feel out of control because you can't do anything to stop it. So we have a building here, Clear Lake. I think it's 27 stories, and the corner drops. It was getting windy. There was a rookie, and we usually put the biggest guys, the heaviest guys on the corners of any job.
So they don't get blown way out.
Right.
Oh,
so this guy, it's an all glass curtain wall building, 27 stories. One guy next to him goes, I'm getting down. It's just too windy. We're blowing soap all over what we already did. And he starts cruising down the building. The other one next to him is like, I'm going to finish my drop. Well, that guy got caught by a gust of wind. So he was on the corner of a triangular shaped building.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably 15 stories up. The wind grabbed him, pulled him about, according to his partner that was there, about 15 feet away from the building, and then blew him around the corner where you couldn't see him anymore. And he went through a window,
Slam.
4x8, backwards. Okay, ended up in someone's office. Okay, and I think he had 37 or so stitches in his back.
God.
Yeah. So you gotta watch those corners. My brother-in-law.
That happened to me. Not that crazy, but we were doing those overhangs on a Shurion, and they. This was just this past week. I have the footage. It's of that drop I edited, but the last part of this footage is corrupted. My SD card did it, but I'm trying to send it to. Anyways, I'm trying to get it fixed. But if you go by there and you look at the building we did, and it's like we have some cell phone footage of it, but it's like you come down on this overhang, and it's a 5 foot overhang. Like I had to bring a 12-foot pole for this one, and when I came down on the corner, that's where the wind switched on us. Like we were set up on the other side of the building, but we moved to this one, and once we got over halfway down, it changed directions. So at this point, it was supposed to be blowing us this way towards the glass, but instead it was blowing us out. So with me being on the corner of the overhang, not only was I coming down 5 foot out, when I pushed out with that pole, and I was trying to come back in to hit my suction on to get my leg around it, it was blowing me so far out, I wasn't even near the building. So it was just like I had to just wait it out for that wind to stop and then blow in and suction on. And like I was sitting there like, this is ridiculous. It was a lot of cursing going on, a lot of cursing. And those were those ones we're talking about, earlier. Like I was talking to my boss about it, because we were doing insides. I was like, those don't look too bad from the inside. He was like, you see them in the sun? And I was like, no. He was like, they don't look too great. They waited a year on getting cleaned. He said, and that is a technical drop. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, it was just like, okay. But dude, those overhangs sketch me out, and wind bothers me more than anything,
Wind is not your friend.
No, I hate strong winds, dude. I hate it.
No, we're by the beach, so I mean it can go from 10 to 15 to 30 to 45. We have one set of buildings. They're one's 23 stories, and that's on top of a 5-story parking garage, and the other one is like 18 stories, and it's right near the beach. So the gap between the buildings is just a wind tunnel all the time. No matter what, it's a minimum of 15, and nobody ever wants to do it. The only thing is the windows are inset about 2 feet, so you can put your feet on the ledge.
That's
and
nice.
steady
You can grip
yourself.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that's kind of like, have you seen T-Pack? It's one of there's like 5 buildings like it left in the U.S. where they're built on stilts, and it's
Okay.
like what you're talking about, where it's literally because it's on them stilts, it's just a vortex coming up
Yep.
underneath there and whipping
Yep.
around,
Yep.
and it's like luckily those frames as well. It's like you can literally like grip. You don't even need a suction. That's
Yeah.
a perfect building for those free climbers, what they'd want to do and climb all their way up.
Right.
But we like it for cleaning, but it's like that's one of those ones, man, where the wind is just ridiculous. Or the ones like right on the interstate when it's like the exit ramps right here and the buildings are here, and it's like you already had the interstate draft coming nonstop, and then when the wind comes, you just get brutalized. Like we did a 20-story building just before 505, which is about 50 stories, and I told my buddy John I was on the corner and I got taken off that corner, and taken out on the interstate. And I was tied down with weights, but the stretch on the genie rope still took me out enough, to where I was like pulled out over that about 10 stories down out of the 20. And, I told him, I said, dude, I ain't been that freaked out. I said, we do big buildings, we do everything like that. I said, I haven't been that freaked out, kept your cool, came back in. But like when I say you get scared on the wall sometimes, I haven't had that happen, but that building got me shook for like a solid, I don't know, month, dude.
Yeah. No, we have one, there's 20 stories, all glass, and the corners, my guys noticed right away, they said there's eyelets only on the corners. So I went to the chief engineer, I'm like, dude, what's with the little stainless buttons on the side? He goes, we had a guy get blown around the corner and bust a window. So when they recaulked the building, we had those installed there, every other window on the corner. And then so my guys, once they figured that out, they get a piece of 5 foot of paracord with a cheap carabiner on it and just clip into that corner. So if it grabs you ain't going more than 5 feet, and
That's
just
right
that's
there.
peace of mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
dude,
they put it on the building for that. Yeah.
Peace of mind is everything, and that's like, I'll tell my damn moth, dude, he will not get out of here. That's what I tell John all the time. It's like I'm comfortable, with what we're doing, but it's like you said, to have the awareness. Like even John, he's been doing it for 11 or 12 years. To have like, we always look at each other's rigging. We always question each other. Like, hey, how'd you do that? Or even if I know it's set up perfect, I'll be like, hey man, you want to look at that? Would you do anything different there? And he'd be like, nah, dude, that looks perfect. And at the same time, he'd be like, hey man, this may slide a little bit. He'll be like, I think it should be rigged perfect, but will you stand right here and watch and lower my bucket to me just so I can get past the first window or so? It's like always just to be careful, what I mean? 'Cause at the end of the day, he's got kids to get home to. I've got kids to get home to.
Right.
And it's like, we do a dangerous job, It's just like, it's thrilling to do what we do, though, because think how many people would like the views we get, like when I'm downtown Nashville on 5th and Broadway on a Friday afternoon, and you look down and it's just Broadway's done closed off with the cops, and it's just people from out of town are just flooded. You just hear nothing but band after band after band after band after band playing in every one of these bars, and I just have a prime view of the city, and I'm getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it has its benefits, but the thing is, it's like you said, when you have dumbasses, and it's like, when you get into stage work, that's some sketchy work. Stages can be sketchy.
Mechanical, most chair guys don't like to ride a stage because it's too much mechanical.
Well, and you're relying on other people. When you're in a chair, I'm in charge of my descent, I'm in charge of stopping, I'm in charge of my rigging. When you're in a stage with 1 or 2 other guys, like I've been on a stage before, and done work with other people where they've just literally, you're on a big job and you got 25 guys there. They're hiring anybody and everybody that's crazy enough to get up on these things. Sometimes for big projects. Yeah. And it's like, you look over and you see homeboy's acting a little weird over there, and all of a sudden you take a peek in his lunchbox after about a week of it, you see a full thing of Fireball, like a pint bottle. You go to lunch, come back, that thing's empty. Yeah. So it's like, if he wants to risk his life, that's one thing, but you're not going to risk my life. No. You know what I mean? And that's you see stage accidents, and 9 times out of 10, yes, there's freak accidents, but 9 times out of 10, there's a reason something happened. You know, there's a reason. It's like, I saw one the other day where one of his cables collapsed, and this dude's hanging on to the bottom of the stage because he wasn't clipped into a safety. You know what I mean? He's hanging on to the bottom, and eventually slapped, and this dude dropped like 2.5 stories, like luckily on a ledge. Like, he timed it good. I'll give him that. He held on. He got slapped around, good for him. But it's just like, he you know what I mean? Like a simple safety rope, you would have been dangling above that thing. You know, it's just like
No, you have to
I
think of everything that is happening, everything that can happen, and that's why it's not only physically. It's the most extreme window cleaning there is, and physically it takes its toll, but mentally it's just
Yeah, I mean my gray hairs and my thinning over the last couple of years, dude. I blame my son, but I swear this work is part of it too. I love it, you know. But at the end of the day, some days are stressful, man. It's like, you know, that's what me and John will talk about sometimes. Like when we hadn't been hanging, you know, for like 3 or 4 months. Say you're doing nothing during the slow season, you're just hitting out like nothing but 6, 7, 8, maybe a 10-story building here or there. All the sexy ones have been cleaned around springtime. You know what I mean? All the high rises, they want to be done around the same time. You're just nonstop. Then you got your little slow season, just a bunch of little ones you're filling it with. Then you go back to all of a sudden of doing nothing but smalls. Your boss is like, all right, go do a 50-story. And it's like, bro, I ain't done a 50-story in like 6 months.
No, it's something you got to almost do
so it's
every
like
day.
the night before, it's like, it's not like you lose sleep, but it's like, you know, we'll talk about it. I'm like, whew. A little bit tense today, a little bit tense, you know, until you hop over the wall and get going, then you're good. But it's like, you know, you hop over and everyone's just pretty quiet. Just pretty quiet at the top, pretty quiet when they go, everyone's focused, you know, then you get a few floors down and someone starts talking and you hear a laugh or two, then the conversation's going, you know, but it's definitely challenging some days. More than others.
Yeah. You're definitely, like I said, you started into the most extreme area of window cleaning that there is. So rather than work your way up to it, you don't have much to look forward to except for maybe someday doing some fucking houses or something. You know,
well, I've done. That's the thing. My boss did a lot of residential. That's where he got so picky because his dad did a lot of residential, like in the rich part of our town. So that's why he got so picky on quality. But you know, like any bad habit like he ever saw me making, you know, he'd be like, if I see you doing that again, you can find a new job. I love you, but I'm gonna be honest with you about that. You know, so it's like it was some tough love for a while, but once he hammered it in me, you know, it was second nature, you know. But that's like houses, dude. Like I can do them and I don't mind doing them. We've done them, you know. Like I don't really enjoy it. I hate French pains, you know what I mean? I don't like having to be all careful around people's furniture. I enjoy talking to people, but it's like same with doing the inside of these buildings. I can do it. I like making the lobbies look real nice. I do like talking, you know, to the security ladies and custodians. I do like being friends. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I'm thankful to have all the insides and all that stuff for when it's like a rainy day or bad weather. We can't be outside, but if I can be outside, I want to be outside. You know? That's the only place I want to be.
Awesome.
I don't blame you, man.
Jacob made it. I was wondering about your tool time.
Oh,
Jacob's tool time?
I don't want to. Hey, we don't want to spring those on him no more. You know what I mean? He hasn't been prepared, so I don't know. He doesn't let me know when he is prepared, so I'm just like, you know, when he says, "Hey, I'm ready for tool time," I'll start adding him to the show again. But I mean, you know, last week we sprung it on him.
I was kind of disappointed.
The week before,
he was mad at me last week. I'm like, I'm not. He moved.
No, I wasn't mad.
He moved. Yeah, he was mad. He moved. He just got done moving and everything. I'm like, I'm not going to put him on the spot again. Maybe next week I'll get him. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at other shit that was going on.
Oh, well, you got to stop being mad at other shit that's going on. You need to be more positive, like Fletcher.
Yeah. Look, dude, you need to learn to let shit roll off your back. Fuck that, man.
I mean, dude, our comments are lit up with how positive and how cool you are, dude. Everyone really likes you, Fletcher.
Yeah, man.
I haven't looked, man. I've just stayed in this Skype call. I've never done, you know, like I said, I've never really done lives. Anytime I've tried to do them on TikTok, it's like I'm so busy most of the time when I'm at work because, like, when I get up in the morning, dude, it's like I get up, I get myself ready, then I get my son up, get him ready for school, take him to school, get to work late. Go, nonstop, work late, come home, pick him up. So it's like nonstop. So I don't take the time. Like whenever I've pulled out a phone to like try and go live, like, hey guys, how's it going? Or even wait around.
It'd be awkward.
20, 30 minutes and just stare there at the screen, just like, hey, how's it going? I'm just gonna let y'all look at me. Like I just can't do it or just waste the time. I'm just
are you a single father?
I am, man.
And that's
His
all.
mom visits. His mom visits, though. You know.
Huh? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's.
But
neither
yeah,
here
he
nor there.
lives
I
with
just
me.
okay.
He lives
Okay.
with me. I take
Well,
care
then,
of him.
then,
How
then
old's-
all
how
of it
old's your
that all
son?
makes sense.
Huh?
How old's your son?
He's 7.
Okay.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, man. That kid saved my life, dude. That kid saved my life. He's my best friend, man. I truly. That's what like some people will tell me. They'll be like, man, like I see like with your son, you miss some of those opportunities. Like, like you're not grinding as hard as you can't go out and do this. I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I used to feel the same way. But at the end of the day, I learned that it's because of my son that I am where I am. It's because of him that I did grind more. It's because of him that I did do that, And it's like, it took me a while to realize it, but that dude's my best friend, dude. He don't care what I want to do. He's down to do it as long as
He ain't judging nobody.
No.
whether we're
Right,
going outside,
right,
whether we're going
right.
to see a movie, whether we're going to a window cleaning convention, whether I'm going to bid buildings downtown and he's getting to go through back alleys with me. He's like, all right. And
Yeah.
Isn't the huge convention in Nashville this year?
apparently,
Again, yeah.
Is it?
apparently,
It was there
Man,
last year.
are you going to go to it, Fletcher?
bro, don't they charge like $1,000 a ticket or something like that?
They do.
That's IWCA.
That's
Uh-huh.
IWCA.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the.
That's
I don't
called
think-
the
you don't
dick
have to-
measuring contest.
Yeah, I'd love to go. I'd love to go to those. 'Cause I remember I found out last minute about that convention last year.
Mhm.
I remember the tickets being like really pricey, and it's just.
IDCA is
maybe
up there
they
when
are.
it's come down.
I don't know. Bobby Walker was here in the chat here for a little while. I don't know. He's probably not watching still, but doesn't he have something to do with that?
Yes,
His
now I
thing, isn't
believe.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he could tell us if he was in here, but I don't know if he is or not. But yeah, if
He's
it's
on the
super
board.
expensive, man, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you on that shit. Like, I
Freeze
I
for
get
me.
it. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. Why they got to charge some money for it? I mean, you got to, whatever.
I do
but
too. I just
some of that
I'd
shit
love
is
to go.
exorbitant,
I
man.
don't
It's
have
just
the
like-
extra change to do it.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like I get it and I respect it, and it's like when I'm in the position to go to those things, I'll be there. You guarantee it. But it's
Right.
like, right now it's it'll
funny thing is,
happen when it
Fletcher,
happens.
You've been cleaning windows for 2.5 years and have experienced more than most guys there that've been cleaning for 30 years.
yeah.
It's true. It's true.
It is true.
You know? I
Yeah.
mean, you are the complete opposite. Because let me back this up a little bit. I had employees that started with me when we scrounged to go find work. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
to where they had year-round high-rise work. Literally, like I said, one building, go across the street. I didn't even see them sometimes for 2 to 3 weeks. They'd send me a message saying, "This one's done. We're going to this one."
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
book the next one. Make sure we're good to go. And it was just like boom, 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 right down the line in a 10-mile radius. That was it. So that said, but I noticed, and I was proud of this, because both high-rise guys bought homes, got married, and had children all under my watch.
Yeah, they're making smart.
But they were
shit.
the quite opposite, because once they started having kids and getting to 40 years old, I don't know how old you are, they started to go, I'm just not feeling it as much anymore. And then eventually it just slowly grinds to a halt. And I hate to tell you this, but one day the thrill of it goes away, and then the hard work comes up, and then you start to look at your little boy growing up and you say, I might. And hopefully you're in business for yourself and have other people doing it for you at that point. You may never lose the passion. There's guys that are 60 years old doing what you do. I don't think they're as, jumping off 50 stories anymore. You know what I'm saying? But you are such the opposite of everything I've ever associated with in window cleaning. So my hat's off to you, and I got mad respect.
Well, thank you, man. But no, you described it perfectly, because that's like literally my boss. Like I said, he's about to be 66 in June.
Yeah.
And he doesn't repel anymore. And I see the life he's built. I see that him and his brother play on the World Poker Tour. I see the life they have. I see the life that they've built.
Yeah.
I see it comes from hard work, and that's like I said, there's days where it's just grueling, where you're grinding on them small buildings. Man, that's like me and him have had those talks, because I talked to him a while back when people started coming to me about work and doing my own company, and that's when he told me, he was like, man, for you and your son right now, he said, you being a single father, it's the position you're in, he said, I'm going to get to you, he said, where your bare minimum, he said, making $250 to $300 a day every day, he said, And on days where it's good buildings, you'll make $500 a day. You know,
Yeah.
and he stayed true to that. And he bonuses me on top of that. You know,
So-
we do make more than most
Yeah.
people.
No, you
But
have
he
to
was-
take care of the employees. There's no doubt. I mean, they've all heard me say it. But let me ask you this: is the company you work for one of the larger companies in Nashville, or is it average, or
We're
is
the
there
number
not a
one
lot?
in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the best one in Tennessee, and like we're in the top in the nation. You know, from what we've heard, like in the work we do. But that's like it's just because the passion he has, man, and the passion he's instilled, and just like he cares, man. Like that's like he told me, he was like, you could do that. He said, honestly, man, he said, I'd rather give you my blessing when I retire. He said, all the buildings I have, he said, I'd rather groom you. He said, if you do want to run your own company, he said, or if we do keep mine going, if I do sell it, he said, you know, there's so many what ifs. He said, but you're building the relationships with every building manager. He said, I'd rather give these buildings to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he wants me to have the time with my son. Like it's like when my son's graduation's going on, when my son has a zoo day, when I'm going to take my son to the aquarium, go do what you got to do. You do what you got. You know what I mean?
Your boss sounds a lot like what I wish I worked for, but I was very much the same with my guys. I didn't babysit them.
No, not at all.
You know, but that's not easy because there's not a lot of Fletchers in this world. Meaning,
it took a lot of time for my boss to build trust with us, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It only happened like that's why like we can't get people on our crew. Like there's so many people that would want to work with us or other crews that have tried, and he's even had other crews that like didn't have work. He'd let them come help us with the building. Then he'd come walk through us with the building. And it's not that we're snitching them out, you know, but he'd be like, hey, I drove by. I saw you were hanging here. You were hanging here. I know who did this portion of the building. And we go inside and he'd look and just be like, see all these runs, see these smears in the sun. They're not touching another building, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, he can trust us, and he's like, I'd rather you guys take a little more time on each building if you have to, and have less guys doing it, where I can be more hands off and focus on my other projects, you know. And he does that, so it's like, and that's where I say it comes back to where he's like, listen, he said, I can keep this going for you guys, he said, but I don't need it. He said, I'll keep it going for you guys. He said, but the minute y'all screw it up, he said, y'all screw it up.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't need the drama.
Yeah, but
somebody had asked earlier if you planned on buying your boss's company.
Nah, man. No. The amount of
money.
Nah, man. Nah, man. I don't have those kind of pockets.
Right.
But to be honest, man, that's the thing. It's like I really want to build something from the ground up. Me and my best friend John. You know, like I said, we've been best friends for since high school, man. Mm-hmm. And it's like when I fell off that building, he was the first one down there to save my ass. When it came to training me, I know where we're at now, and I know the kind of work we get done today, and I know what he's capable of. To look back and see how much money he made less of every day, the hit that he took every day, and begging my boss to let me train my best friend, let me build my best friend, let me build my partner, and talk about the future we were going to have together. Like, I know how much he lost every day, workloads, like coaching me over the wall, staying with me, not leaving me, going at my pace, doing my rigging for me. You know what I mean? Like all of that. And it's like, we want to build something, man. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know where we're going. So it's just like,
that's cool.
An exciting feeling, man. You know? It's exciting when you know what you want to do.
Yeah, it's like I know we're gonna succeed. Like there's no one that I know the work we do. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, the only difference is gonna be is my boss is retired and we put a name on ourselves. It's still us doing the work. It's like, you know what I mean? Nothing's changed besides that. You know, and we've talked about like he doesn't care too much about the. He don't like the paperwork part or having to deal with the business side of that aspect. He loves running buildings. He loves
because he's a window cleaner at heart.
A window cleaner at heart, dude. And it's like I love that business aspect. And so we've talked about it. It's just like I love the fact that we're gonna be able to bid together. I'm gonna be able to run the business aspect and work with him. But it's like the power of the two of us together, man. You know, it's like we see how our boss has a twin brother and what they built. You know, the two of us, it's just like what we've been through since high school. You know, this is nothing. You know what I mean? We got this, you know, and it's just like I truly believe in what we're gonna do here. So I'm excited. I get him hype all the time. If you get me talking about it, I won't shut up.
Dude, you need it. Hey,
with that, man.
Hey Fletcher, what would you charge me to give me a kick in the ass about 11 o'clock every day when I get out of my truck and don't want to put the tailgate down.
Yeah.
What I get a
We need a phone call, bro.
Sundays though, dude. Every morning I wake up so many mornings and just like, you know. But it's just like once you get up and you get going, it's just like, I don't know. Like when we got back to cleaning, you know, this year, you know, one of our first buildings, dude, it was a shitty paying building, dude. You had to grind all day to make like 250 out there, you know. And when I say all day, I mean like, you know, a seven and a half hour day with taking a lunch.
I never planned to get 8 hours out of a high rise guy. There was the days where they put, hey, stay a little late, we'll do some bonus here, get it done. Got to get to the other.
It's a lot of work,
But honestly, if you get 6.5 hours out of a high rise guy, you did good for the day.
Yeah, man. It's like with putting the gear up and everything. So it's like everything's said and done. You put in a 10-hour day, you know, everything with the driving to Nashville, everything's said and done. But I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that, though.
Yeah.
What kind of microphone are you using, dude?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, it's straight off my laptop, man.
It's a good laptop microphone. Mark's got a super sweet microphone, like a blue, and it's like 17 feet away from him. Sounds like he's talking across the room.
I had a nice one. My brother had me a nice
now it's unplugged
setup here.
Now it's unplugged. Your microphone's unplugged or off, Mark. Just so you know.
Any of this works.
Yeah.
Okay, it's back on.
Listen, man,
This is why we're still on Skype, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
There's nothing wrong with fucking Skype, man.
I mean, we talked about getting off of it for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
You didn't use Discord or something like that, and have like a whole Discord window cleaning chat, and just like.
Well, we have a Patreon chat, but that's all I use. I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of old
Same
school
here.
in the regard to where like I'm just used to doing it on YouTube, so fuck it, we're gonna do it on YouTube because that's where most of the people that are watchers of the show are at is on YouTube. You know what I mean? So it's just easy.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to doing that, but then that's asking everyone, hey, follow us all the way over here. We've been doing this 5 years. We've been doing this 5 years on YouTube. You know, we're closing
pioneer.
we're closing in on like fucking 300 episodes. You know what I mean? We've done 300 live episodes. So
Well, that's the right way to go. Like with me, it's like I've known YouTube was like the end goal, you know, but it's like to take the time, you know, it takes so much time. You know, when I did that edit the other day of that YouTube video, my son's mom was actually visiting, you know, that weekend, so she had him for a few days. And so it's like I actually had some time to myself, and I was just sitting there. I was like, all right, let's actually do a PC edit here, you know. So I went through with that, but it's like to take the time to do those edits and then upload it to a different platform and manage that social media fan base, manage that page, you know, manage all doing those thumbnails and what trends on that, you know, because you can have a great high-rise video, you know. I've got one up there, that one that got 20 million views on TikTok. I think it's got 100 on YouTube, and I actually have like the 15-minute long video. Great commentary, you know. But no one's gonna click it and watch it.
Right.
But it's like everyone.
Everything. The thing with YouTube is everything has to be perfect. Your keywords, you got to have a couple keywords in the title. So you got to do all the tags. All your tags have to match your keywords in your title. And then this, and then the description's got to be done a certain way. And then you got to have like a high resolution thumbnail.
Steve-O's are perfect, man.
Steve-O's a dick. Fuck him. I fucking hate that guy.
7-8 years.
Fuck Steve-O. Fuck him.
Yeah, Steve-O sucks anyways.
Yeah, fuck Steve-O.
We
We actually love Steve-O, but
oh, dude,
he is so fucking.
He's your one-on-one with him. Yeah,
he's got a
Fuck Steve Zero.
Yes, fuck Steve Zero. Fucking Eddie, man, that shit was great. But anyways, yeah, Luke's got it, or not Luke, but Steve-O. Luke used to have it down too. Luke and Steve-O, both of them really, really had it down to where they were. I mean. This dude's, I mean, he's got like, I'm thinking like close to 40,000 subscribers now, doesn't he?
Shit, yeah, he's got a lot.
I think so. Steve-O does. Like,
that's
Steve-O is, he's got the formula on, like, he's tried He's tried to help old T Squeegee, but I am just like, dude, I can't do it,
I
man.
got a question for all
Yeah.
y'all though. You guys all run water-fed poles, don't you?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And you all run like that zero, where it's like the double tank system.
Yep.
I used one of those the other day, and I just got a question for y'all. Someone's trying to tell me that you can use those without running the pump, and I just don't understand the point of trying to run one of those without the pump. It just seems like so much scrubbing. But do y'all ever actually run those
Well,
without the pump?
okay.
It really
I don't
depends
think.
on.
No, hold on. I don't think he knows. Mark Tanner builds skid mountain systems.
Yeah.
He built me and TJ one, so I have like a.
I got one
50-gallon
with a 12
tank
volt.
in my van with a pump system, switch, voltmeter, everything. So I don't run off of like a zero
It
system.
really depends on. First of all, it really depends on how high you're using the thing. And
It was like 3 or 4 stories worth.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't need
that's
a pump
gonna
for
be-
3 or 4 stores.
But these hadn't been done in about a year. I mean, they were rough, man.
did you say he doesn't need a pump?
At 3, I don't run a pump. On my portable
They don't.
units, they don't have pumps on it. I can run 3 stories, depending on, you don't want to
Yeah.
be 300 feet away.
What kind of zero system do you have?
The
On
one
the
I
lo-
used?
Yeah.
The one he has.
No, the one that you used.
Dude, it
Fletcher.
was just one of those nice where it says 2 silver canisters and has the rolly wheels and it can run 2 guns at a time on it.
Okay.
You know, or 2 wands at a
But
time.
2, if you're going to run 2, you really should have a pump.
Yeah, if you're gonna run 2 poles
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up switching it just to 1 because of that. But that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like the person he borrowed it from said they didn't need the pump for what they were doing, and I was just like, I thought the whole magic of these water-fed poles was to
Well, I
have the
got-
pump and just power through it real quick.
I got that Zero Pure Revolution, and that fucking thing flows like a motherfucker. Like
I mean, they turned out good. I'm not saying they didn't turn out like good, but they didn't turn out like
Look,
great.
dude,
You
look,
know what I mean?
don't ever let anybody fool you. There is no comparison, nose
Yeah.
to glass,
Yeah.
soap on, soap off.
Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I
Look,
always
dude,
preferred tradition.
I've been
Tradition's
around long enough.
soothing to me.
I've
you
been
know?
around long enough to lose jobs to people that show up to show up with a
Sweet.
water-fed pole and take a 50-foot entrance way away from me, okay, only to come back and go, yeah, it didn't come
Yeah.
out good. You know, you cannot sacrifice that. However, in certain instances, you know, or high production cut-ups and whatnot, I mean, we use them every day.
We didn't
It
have
also
a choice, really.
it
It was
also-
the best option for what we were doing. You know,
It also really
it's
depends
very
on
rare
what
we
kind
use
of
them.
brush you're using and that kind of shit too. You know what I mean? So
What's your water source too?
your water
Matters,
source,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
your water
Generally,
source
I have
really
a
matters.
super pole everything like at that height, but for some reason, just this area is a little bit too high, so we water fed pole. But yeah, generally we get the supers out, man, and that shit's
Yeah.
the 2-person tag
Well,
team.
I don't care what anyone says. Anything over 4 stories is going to come out like
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah,
It's going to come out like shit.
Yeah.
Look,
Just
anyone
not-
who tells you they're doing
Thank you.
75 feet with a water fed and you can't even see the window
You
from
can't
standing
even
down
scrub
there.
a window like
Yeah.
that.
you can't even see how it's turning out to even say
right.
that.
It should be
I had to use the Zero Destroyer
Destroy
on a 6-story building because they had no tie-offs, couldn't do drops, and I warned them. I'm like, 6th floor and 5th floor are not going to look as good as 4th down. Like it is what it is. So
But
set
I see those
expectations.
guys getting those jobs all the time of like 6-story buildings, and I
Because
see them
it's
up there with
cheap.
the water fed
Because it's
pole,
half
and I'm
the
just
price.
like,
Because it's half the price. It's half the price.
Yeah, man, you
They
have
can't
a
charge them. They can't charge them what you're going to charge them because you're going to do them right.
Yeah.
They're going to go
Yeah.
like they're going to do what Seth said. Like, yeah, they're going to, the top 2 floors are going to be You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
Depends on the project manager. It depends on who's running the
Yeah.
building. It just
Yeah.
depends.
No,
on
dude, my boss used to get out there with binoculars, dude. I remember doing
Get on there.
one time, and we were like 40 stories up in the air, making our ways down. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. I didn't wear AirPods at this time. I just had a speaker on. It was Bluetooth connected. So I turned it on, and he was like literally like 3 blocks away on top of this parking garage. He was like, "Hey, turn around. You see me way over here?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "All right, you're scrubbing out real well and spongy. Now, Ian right next to you, you tell him if I catch him doing that again." You know? Like, dude, like,
I
I'm
used
telling you,
to.
when
I
he first
used to.
started, he was crazy hardcore. You just beat
I used to
it.
hate the dude I
Yeah.
bought my company from. Got me into the business. He was really good for fucking showing up on the fucking job and Mr. Deadeye. He'd be like, look at like something 3 stories in the fucking air and be like, You see that up there in the corner? I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. I've been, that's what I'm saying in my fucking head. I've been here all fucking day on this building, and you're gonna come out, get out the van, and be like, you see that thing up there in the corner? I'm like, you motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I do that now.
I'm about to go home, and you're like, hey, it's time. You gotta fix that right there, dude. Like, you motherfucker, you.
Yeah, it sucks. I was thinking, I wish in the future, if I do one of these, eventually you need to get it to where you can set it to multi-stream to multi-platforms, man.
See, there's like, I wish I could cast like on, maybe Twitch and TikTok. That'd be fucking awesome. But
yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know how to do that.
You can,
which is difficult to go from.
I'm
YouTube.
trying to get it that way, but the only way I'd know how to do it is if they do give us a stream key, you would just kind of share.
You
I guess
can do
it's
it
the Skype call
through StreamYard. You could go live on YouTube, Facebook,
Okay.
and a couple others. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Jake coming in with the tips. I like it.
Well, maybe after our summer vacation, we'll switch to StreamYard.
Yeah, man.
I like that hoodie.
and
How do you
That's
what
dope.
this hoodie?
I like yours, but now the Godfather Squeegee one, man.
Oh yeah, that's on SqueegeeLife.com, man. What you gotta do is hit me up, dude.
Oh, I called it. It's a shirt, but I don't know why I called it a hoodie. I think I was
They
looking at
come in
You can get it
hoodies
in a
too.
hoodie?
You can get it in a hoodie.
That's
you can get it in a
nice.
long sleeve.
That is.
Have you ever
nice.
went to the? Have you ever?
The Squeegee Mall is the best sweatshirt out there.
Have you
It's
ever
the best.
gone? Have you ever gone to the website and seen any of the shirts on there?
No, dude. I don't know.
You need
how
to go
do
check it out.
merch
You'll be.
shit. I
You
don't
gotta
know.
check it out. You gotta check it out,
You
man.
fucking put
I wish
videos
I
up
did.
200 feet in the air, and you can and stream that
And
shit
edit.
and edit it.
Well,
but you don't know how to type in www.
No, I know how to do that, but like the way you've made all your merch and do all that, like, did you make those?
hmm
TJ
Like, see
designs
that,
all
like,
the
I do the designs, but
That is awesome.
I have-
though.
I have a
Things
lot of
they're
help
able
with
to think
the-
and do those. Like, that is so.
I
I'll
have a
sit
lot
there.
of help with the artwork,
Right.
but I have an idea, and they're able to help me get it to a printable a point. Like, I can only do so much that they have to
That's
make it so
looking
it's
good.
printable.
You know, between the four of
This
us,
stuff is good.
yeah, between the four of us, one of us will have an idea and just shoot it over to TJ, and next thing I know, it's in my inbox. Hey,
Yeah.
is this what you're looking
Yeah.
for? And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right there. So
It's
we
like
can Jack Daniels label.
I need,
Well,
I need to start harassing you then.
Who,
Yeah.
me?
I got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, man. Anytime,
There you
dude. Like
Get 'em over.
like I said, you be surprised at the logo swaps that I've done. You know what I mean? They're pretty cool. And
Oh yeah, the Kill 'Em All one you did with the Squeegee Mall is my favorite sweatshirt.
Squeegee 'em all, like the Metallica cover of Kill 'Em All. I made so instead of the hammer in his hand, he's got a squeegee in his hand, and it's Clean 'Em All. It's fucking.
I like
Yeah.
those ones. It's like, you'll see that. I'm sure all of y'all have seen it, like the Ninja Turtles ones, and
Yeah.
they've all got squeegees and coming
Yeah.
down. I
Yeah.
love that stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Those what's that dude's name?
Oh yeah. I know.
Anthony Padlow. He's the guy that designed that T-shirt. That's a pretty good T-shirt. I like it. Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't even. I think that all started from Mark's T-shirt. Mark's work shirts. You know, like they have the Salt Life and the fucking all that shit. His work shirts on the sleeves had Squeegee Life with a big muscular arm holding the squeegee. And I was like, bro,
Yeah.
we need to do something with that. Let me make
I like
T-shirts
that,
and
though.
shit. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sure, I don't give a shit, whatever. It's just like it was just like kind of like a ha at the people with their Salt Life stickers. You know what I mean? Like,
I live in
fuck
Florida,
you.
so everything
Yeah.
is salt life, beach life, fish
yeah.
life.
And
you
Mark's
know.
like, fuck you, Squeegee Life.
It's always, at least you live in Florida, because I live in Tennessee, and all we have is like lakes and like the Cumberland River and
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And the amount of Salt Life stickers you see, when you go,
Yeah.
out like at the lake, and it's like, guys, this is a lake.
Right.
But Nashville was awesome.
Bothered me.
Yeah, I don't. I've always, I grew up with the co-ed naked T-shirts and you know what I mean. You're never gonna,
Wild.
you know what I'm saying. So
TJ, do you remember Ratfink? Do you
Yeah.
remember those?
yeah. So I'm just like, I would telling Mark, I was like, it'd be cool if we could come up with some gear for window cleaners, so we could be, like the inner circle could get a chuckle out of this, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, let's just do it. And it just, anything I see that's cool, I'm like, man, that'd be a cool ass Squeegee Life shirt.
Well,
Let's do
I'll
that.
tell you what, the one that still gets attention. Now, this one gets a lot of attention because I wore this to work today. I wear them, if it's not this, it's WCR and occasionally a Sky's the Limit shirt, But the funny thing is that the one of the first ones you did, which was the Stranger Things, but it said Squeegee Life, that gets more attention than anything because young kids see it and they go Stranger Things and they're like, what does that say?
Yeah, so I took the Stranger Things logo and turned it into Squeegee Life. That one sold like a motherfucker.
That's still one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that one sold like a motherfucker. That started out as the Free Richie Blue T-shirt. That's what that started out as.
I still have it as that.
I have mine too.
Yeah.
See,
Now,
that's
I've about
you
worn
have
that
to-
one out. I need to
that's
order
That's
another
what I'm talking about, though. That's nice because there's like people I personally like have ran it. That's what blows me away. Is like I'll run into people like just in town or in downtown Nashville that just recognize me from online, and it always blows me away when I talk to them. But it's like there's this one guy, who works at a gas station near my house, and he's like one of my biggest fans. I love this guy. He's awesome, man. And he's always seen me like in my work hoodies, and he's like, dude, if you had like some cool hoodies or stuff like when it was cold, he said, I'd buy every one of them, like beanies and all that. And it's like, I'd love to make some and give them to him, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, that would be cool. The fact that you know how to do that, like, that's pretty awesome. Because I wish I could think, like that. I don't know, that Godfather one is just awesome.
I can tell you right now, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not fucking worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
I just like some cool swag for myself.
People are fucking shitbirds, man. People been asking for 3 years. They're like, hey, man, when we going to get a Squeegee Life hat? When we going to get a Squeegee Life hat? And I'm like, all right, cool. So finally, I was like, this is a new thing that we're doing. This is Mark's idea. All of March is going to be about high-rise guys from here on out. I'm like, all right, cool. So I was like, this is the month I'm going to release the hat because it's a big month. We're having all these cool-ass high-rise people on. I put the fucking hats up on Facebook and shit like that and Instagram, and everyone's like, $35 for a hat. I'm like, dude, it's cost me $25 to have the fucking hat made. First of all, then I gotta fucking ship the motherfucker to you, put it in a box. I mean, and I gotta drive it to the post office. I mean, I'm not a box. I don't own a box company or a hat making company. I'm not the CEO of UPS. Like, you gotta, what the fuck, man?
All of that, just to.
Well, why the hell
that
not?
Makes me just put. It's just a headache of it too.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm not,
volume, it's not gonna be worth it at that.
We're not making no money off of it.
Thousands of hats. Like,
I'm
not
just
worth it.
and I'm not gonna sell thousands of hats. I'm gonna sell maybe a dozen, 2 dozen hats. I'm not making no money. I'm just doing it because motherfuckers asked for it. You wanted a Squeegee, I'm giving it to you, and then you're gonna fucking complain about it.
I mean,
It's like,
I'm buying
fuck you
5
guys.
for my crew, but yeah.
Can't
But
win.
yeah.
But
I knew you guys would buy 'em,
To
you know?
make cool ones like that for your crew, like to even make like logos like that. Like I just wish that would be some cool stuff to do, and like just to have cool ones around. Like I'd love to give them to dude, but like the idea of
What I'll do is when we get off of here, I'm gonna send you the link to my website so you can go look. You don't even have to type it in. I'm gonna send it to you, and then you can just click on it.
My man. You go, my man.
And you know what,
My man.
Fletcher? I'll bet your little boy would look pretty cool in a Squeegee Life t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll even give you a discount code, bro.
Sometimes.
Right. So,
I don't let him touch my nice squeegees, but he definitely knows how to use a mop. So
There you go.
that part.
All right, that's the way to learn. That's the way I learned. Mop first.
Yep.
Hell, I just now started letting Wyatt, my son, starting to use the mop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I feel like it. Go ahead.
he's 9. He turns 10 in September.
That's what's up, man.
Mark's got a son working for him.
Yep.
How old's yours?
I have a 21-year-old that's been working with me for a year now, and I have a 18-year-old that's getting ready to go to welding school.
Okay.
So, but he'll probably wind up being a window cleaner like the rest of us. But he's got to find, what he wants to do. So
Yeah. That's how my boss's family are. Both his son, It's his own company, and then his
Yeah.
brother's son owns his own company.
Yeah,
You
my
know,
dad
all
was a
my
window
brothers
cleaner,
do.
so I'm second generation. We've had guys on here that are fourth generation window cleaners, which to me, I just love to pick their brain and
You
hear.
just
I know
what
what
they
my
know.
father came up with, but previous to him,
Yeah.
that shit was freaking ancient. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh yeah, that's like if I had, a chance to hang with you one day and just get up on a building, those are my
Yeah.
favorite days when you can just get up on a building, not worry about the money. It's
Yep.
just a pretty day, pretty building.
Yep.
You ain't making shit. Either it pays bad or it pays good, whatever.
Yeah.
You just are there and enjoying what you're doing good work and like
Yeah.
practicing just good conversation to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
Those are the best days when you got someone experienced, who's better than you, who can kind of kick back and watch you a little,
Yeah.
And be like, hey man, see what you're doing right there? You see how you're getting that little bit of runoff that's dripping on my window 2 down?
Yeah.
It's because you're angling your squeegee a little like this when you're closing out instead of like this. You know what I mean? And it's all in the motion, or, all in the wrist, and it's just like all those little details, every little thing, that you can learn. It's like that's one thing you can see about some of our videos that like we'll do, like that no one ever really cares for, the ones like you edit and take the time into and really try to show the beautiful art of window cleaning and what we do. It's like only window cleaners see that, and those are my favorite to make, and I'll always see its comments from like you or like Nick or Steve-O will actually comment on some of them or like them. It's just like you can always see the window cleaning community are the ones who appreciate those
what
videos.
you're doing. Yeah.
And it's like those ones you gotta love those.
Yeah, those are the most ingratiating to do is when your peers liked your videos. You know what I mean? Like I've unfollowed people for watching my videos and not liking them. Like, you motherfucker, I like your fucking videos, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, all right, fuck you then, dude.
I'll go through my little friends sometimes, and it's like, if I haven't done it in a while, just because, like, when you use TikTok or use these platforms, like, I'm so busy as I am, I'll get on there and release content. And it's like, I don't go back and look at the notifications for comments. I'll go back and click on the video after a time and try and respond to some if I can, unless it gets crazy. But it's like some of them, you just got to let it go, kind of. You know what I mean? And just see where it's at and check back in with it and just be like, man, it just is what it is. I'm just done with it. Like, I'll just go on with your life, and just like when you create just the content, I don't have the time to like go and like like really view, you know what I mean? When you're creating content for it and have life too, you don't really have time to just go and scroll. So I'll go back through and go on a binge and like see one of like your videos I haven't seen in a while. Next thing I know, I'll go to your page and be watching like 3.
Oh, yeah, I'm bad for that too.
Shit like that, but it's sometimes I'll just forget to do it, but then you'll come across like one of your buddies and it's like, oh man, he's doing some good work over there. Like, Nick Williams, Master Squeegee.
Oh yeah.
I love his editing, dude.
Yeah, he does a really good job editing
videos, man. And it's like the music he puts with them. Like sometimes I'll be sitting there late at night, and that's like, when I'm about to hit the sack, and I'm just chilling there, and I'll just. Next thing I know, I'm just zoned into watching the last 2 weeks of his work.
It's what's crazy is, he's doing that kind of editing in a TikTok video. You know what I'm saying? Like that's. Like, I just, that the amount of effort, I just don't have that in me. Now, if it's a little, like
me, we're stuck there, like, because that's where we started editing, and we're in that platform and pushing it out, so it's like, anytime, like, I did a, 30-minute long edit from top of the building going over to stepping out another ledge, putting on a rope guard, doing another ledge, and going down.
That same return.
It's gotten like hardly any views, but the amount of work it took to edit that video, and it's not seeing anything, so it's like it sucks, what I mean? 'Cause it's like
Yeah, but the people watching it though, the ones that are watching it do appreciate it. I mean, because we've had views that are like, I don't know, 150, and I'm like, that was the best video we've done this year. And then we have ones that are like 400 or 500 views, and I'm like, barely engaged. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird how it works.
I like this doing this. We've our live viewers fluctuate between like 10 and 30. It really just depends live, but it's the same. There's the same core group of dudes, like the same 15 dudes that have been watching us for 5 years. That's why we do what we do on YouTube, is because the loyalty to those people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we'll get 300-400 video like views a podcast every time they're uploaded. You know, that's not bad on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We do a little better on the audio versions, which I stopped doing because I got tired of fucking with iTunes. They just pissed me off so much. But I just like, let me switch my fucking name, you fucking bastards. I just like, let me switch my name. Like, come on, dude. Like, I've multiple requests and you won't do it. So I'm gonna have to start from scratch on that shit, which I guess ain't a bad thing, but still, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, it's like, I know, like I said, I know the window cleaning community always appreciates those videos, so I'll still make them. It's like I said when I started posting videos. I don't care if 5 see it or 5 million. That wasn't the point of putting them. But it's hard, you know, as a creator, you know, as much time as it already does take in editing, you know, and, you know, especially 360 footage, man, because you're picking every angle, you know, otherwise that thing's just spinning and going wild on its own, looking all over the place. You have to set those, so it's like, and then you have to get the right hook. It's just like to get the viewer's attention, and it's like, sometimes it's a little discouraging. It's not that you're not going to do it, but it's like you're not going to put as much effort when you have something that's doing well. It's hard to kind of, you know,
how does that, how do those,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, how do those 360 cameras work? They got to be on your shoulder or something?
You can put it wherever. You can put it wherever. I can put it on like if I was wearing a helmet, I can put it on that. I could put it on my chair. It has like a lens. It has what it has is a lens right here on this side, and then it has another one here. And
cool.
They record up and all around. Same with this one. And where this one ends, it connects to this one. So they bring the image together, and so it records all around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man.
So when you're editing, you have 360 footage, so it's like playing, and it'll be looking up at the wind until like my body naturally moves, until I like turn the camera to look this way and set it that way. Then it's gonna be looking at that angle, or if I check it to track my squeegee, it'll be tracking my squeegee pool in the editing. You know, so it's like it's a lot of work in that, but it's like some of them come out really nice with this thing. It surprised me how more people don't use them.
I didn't even know they were a thing. I was gonna say, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Squaggle It has like, it's
okay.
Well,
well, people watching this will fucking they'll subscribe up on that.
That was my hope, is like when I can get TikTok to give me, you know, finally a stream key. I have it set up. Like, I've done test streams and I've done recordings of what a stream would look like, you know, with running it on this computer, catching what I'm editing here. You know, I know what it's going to look like, the audio, video. It's all going to be great. You know, and I've reached out to the licensing partners. I've reached out to TikTok. I mean, you name it, I've reached out and cannot get this key. And it's just like, you know, the amount of footage I'd love to go live and doing. And it's like, that's what I feel like could bring people to YouTube. It's like, listen, you're going to go through a 15-story building with me the next hour, from top of the building to the bottom. We're going to edit from me going over the roof to unclipping at the bottom. The entire drop, I'm going to talk you through it while we edit it. And when we're done with the editing, I'm going to upload it to YouTube in HD 4K, and you can watch it on your big screen TV and tell your family you edited that video with me live.
Right.
You
that's a really good idea.
Try and do, but
TikTok. I think the problem you're going to have there is the competition between the two. You know what I mean? Like between TikTok and YouTube, because TikTok's probably putting a dent in YouTube. You see now they're doing shorts.
Doing like shorts? Yeah.
They're doing shorts now, but they're also monetizing the shorts. They just started that this year. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely go subscribe to your channel
on all platforms eventually.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do.
Multiple levels of content out there too, because it's just like the more people, I feel like you can get. That's one thing that I want to see change too, which I feel like everyone around this table knows. You know, it's like I can tell by pretty much talking to all y'all. For the most part, we don't. I mean, we may have some people that used to have substance abuse issues. Been there myself. You know what I mean? But it's like I want to get that. I want a crew. You have so many young people that are smart, educated, message me every single day, interested in this career, willing to travel, wanting to work, young minds. I want to get them into it early, get them paid right, get them doing the buildings where the career is seen as it should be seen. When people watch it online, you have 20 million people and they all think we make this amount of money, or they're all so blown away by what we do. It's like, at the end of the day, I don't think someone that has a crazy drug problem and doesn't value his life, or the people he's working with, should be up there just because it's an easy way to make a buck and someone doesn't care. I don't think they should be allowed up there. I do think it should be more stricter, and I do think it should pay more across the boards. And if you can afford to pay some of these people's salaries in these buildings that I know they make, because I got friends in them, you can afford to come up on that price so the people working on these buildings are more professional. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And it's just like, that's what I want to see happen. And it's like, I just feel like it's possible with the right, the right like-minded people. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I feel like
look, I'm going to back that up, Fletcher. The window cleaning industry is its own worst enemy, and I'll tell you why. I had one of the buildings we did had a skylight that started on the 6th floor and went up over 100 feet. No tie-offs. It's just a glass pyramid over the entranceway. It hadn't been cleaned in years. And I went to the building manager and said, hey, we're doing a polishing process. We can probably fix that for you. So I go, okay. I go, let me do a section of it, and then you come out and look at it. So, and you could walk out on a catwalk and walk literally right up to the pyramid. Okay, so I go to my truck, I grab a polisher, grab my gear, climb up a ladder, polish one window, go back down, get him. And I said, okay, there's 4 sides. It's going to be $1,000 a side. The building manager says to me, you literally went to your truck in the parking garage, grabbed your gear, climbed up the ladder, did that, and came and got me within a half an hour. How do you say that that's worth $1,000 a side? And I looked at him and I go, because I'm the only one that's figured out how to do this. You've had other window cleaners. And he goes, I go, so you're telling me it's not worth $1,000 a side? And he says, the truth, your industry did that to itself. Okay. Your industry came in and said, no, we'll do it. Someone else will do it for $500. He goes, now I'm going to give you the $4,000 to fix this. He goes, because I know. I go, dude, I walked up to a window and did it. It's not 30 feet up on that skylight without tie-offs.
Yeah.
We literally had to pump up suction cups on our feet, and on your knees on pads with tie-off going to the main building on a weird angle.
Sketchy shit, man.
Right. So, but the point is, the window cleaning industry is its own worst enemy. So what you're attempting to do in a certain market with the right guys will work, okay? But just understand, buildings, just like you and I, live on a budget, okay? And once the budget starts to get depleted because someone comes in for less money, so they have now, if you have Class A buildings that are loaded full of, 80% occupancy, you're very safe. Once they start to lose tenants or a new office building goes up for the same amount of money, people want to go to the new building, that's when you start to see the problems arise. Do I agree with you 100% that when I started doing this, I pull my truck over on the side of the road, see a guy doing chair work, and I'm like, I'm going to do that. Okay. But at the end of the day, if you're getting $300 for a drop, okay, if I gave someone who didn't know what they were doing $300, would they climb over that wall? Absolutely not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like the direction you're going, and there's going to be hurdles in front of you. Yeah. Okay. But like, I had it really good for a long time, 15, 20 years, the same buildings 4 times a year. That relationship, which is what you keyed in on in the beginning, is super important. You got to build those relationships where they go, I don't care if you're less. This guy's been here 15 years. We're not changing.
That's what I've been blessed to have right now with what my boss has built, and that's what he's told me as well. Right. Is every building we have, and the building managers, they know me by name now. Yeah. I can go and talk to them by name. They ask me how my son's doing, all that stuff, but they'll say the same thing. They're like, look, y'all could be charging double the price as the person underneath y'all, and we'll go with you every time because we know the quality of work you do. And that's where, my boss has the benefit of where he's worked so hard to build his company like you did, and how you had all those steady, to where you're able to do that. You're able to rely on that. And it's like, unfortunately, yeah, you do have to go through that grimy process of undercutting and, you know, going through the trenches and taking the dirt and grinding on this. But it's just like, unfortunately, it's like, you see it even on these nicer buildings now, you know, where it's just like you'll see them just start going to shit, and you know, like when you get on them, it's too late. You know what I mean? Because there's been some buildings we've been called to that we bid, and like, you know, they're like, oh, y'all are too high, so they went with someone else, and then we get called next time, and we're like, dude, they didn't do this right. They're like, well, can y'all not fix that? And it's like, no, it wasn't construction clean the first time. You're gonna have to fully restoration this actually, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like a double-edged sword there, and I know it's gonna be a headache.
Well, dudes,
eventually that's what I want to get to, though. You know,
that's all you dudes watching this and all this shit. Make sure you go follow Fletcher on TikTok and YouTube. Definitely go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Dude, I really appreciate you coming on and kicking off. What a fucking, couldn't have picked a, I was like, man, this guy, I want to ask this dude, hopefully he'll come on the podcast. And Mark's like, who is this guy? I was like, I also share his TikTok. He's fucking does pretty good. I just dig your vibe, you know what I mean? Like,
you guys are amazing, man. I've watched y'all's, you know, whenever you first mentioned it to me, I was like, I didn't know there was a window cleaning podcast. Let's see what this is.
Right.
So I went and looked it up, and I watched your most recent one, and then I think you put out the one-on-one with Steve-O, and I watched that, and it's like I've caught like maybe 30 minutes of a live here or there since, just when I've gone through YouTube. And it's like, I swear, I thought Andrew just by looking at him, you know. When you first told me there was a high-rise guys on the podcast, I was like, it's got to be Andrew. He looks like he's been through the trenches in some wind.
Oh, man, that's just life kicking my ass.
That's just life. Okay.
Right, he's been swinging a squeegee way too long.
Yeah, but man, you're
21 years in June, so
you'll be
him smoking a carton of cigarettes a day and freaking drinking fucking cheap beer.
Yeah,
that's my life.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Yeah, but you're welcome back anytime you want to come back, man. Anytime you want to come back. You can come on, and
I'd love to pick y'all's brains again, Mark. I would love to.
You can call me anytime. Listen,
I would love to get your information and stay in touch.
I'll send you a message.
Just hang on after the podcast, and we'll get everything too.
Right, and Fletcher, I want you to watch the next 3 weeks of podcasts if you can, because
it's all high-rise guys, right?
All high-rise guys. We got Micah Rosa coming next week, who is a fucking animal.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know him, but I've seen his videos, dude. He is a fucking animal.
Oh, we got Green Safety, right, too?
Right. Then we got Jeffrey Scott from Clean and Green.
He's the man.
The training facility, so you'll learn some good stuff there. And we'll close out with Mike Draper, who's also a safety high-rise guy.
Yep. So and then the very last podcast of this month will be Steve-O. Steve-O is going to be with us the very last podcast. So
you got
absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah, we got the March is it's Mark's March Madness. March Madness. Yeah, you know, this is all Mark Tanner's brainchild.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
we're good.
I guess I'm gonna celebrate it now. I can wear a March Madness shirt. People are like, "Yeah, March Madness." And I'm like, "Yeah, March Madness."
There you go.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks again, Fletcher, for coming on, and we will check you guys out next week. Peace.
See you guys next week.
Peace, dudes.